ever played the PC versions of The Sims growing up. Most people I know who have played The Sims Bustin' Out talk about it like it's the best game that's ever been released. And that's fair, but The Sims 3 Generations does exist. And when I used to watch my cousin play it as a kid because he owned it and I did not, it felt like the best game in the world too. Just that intro sequence, I wanted it so bad. And now I have it and we're going to do a deep dive on it. If you don't have the time to watch however long this video is going to be, I really recommend LISS The Last. They've also done a video on The Sims Bustin' Out, and I just really recommend LISS The Last in general. Genuinely feel an excited spark in my belly to find out more about the older games of The Sims. I've been playing it since the year 2000, but only really the PC games. Also, my PC is broken. Yes, thank you. Very, very sad, very sad. I don't have access to my PC because it is being repaired. So everything that you'll see on screen has a link to it, and the link to it is in the description. So if you're ever like, that's a cool piece of fan art, where did she get that picture from? And also, I just really, really recommend checking out the links in the description. I came across some really cool blogs, and it was just so much fun reading about other people's experience playing The Sims. All the links for all the pictures will be in the description, but also just check it out anyway if you're interested. I just want to contextualize this game and kind of place your whereabouts in the world. That sounds so serious, but whereabouts on the Sims timeline this got released. So The Sims for PC released, absolute smash success. Broke so many different records, done very well, changed my life personally and probably the lives of many others, and definitely the lives of many others for sure. And then a console part of The Sims was released. There she is. That's her. She was fantastic because what she'd done was change The Sims from being a 2D game into a 3D game. She's 3D, Sims 1's 2D. This console port also included some very, very iconic characters, and people really resonated with that. I mean, look at me, it's 2024 and I'm resonating. And in the PC game, The Sims Hot Date was out, so you could leave the house to go to a community lot, but what you couldn't do was leave your house to go see other people, which is something that we really take for granted now. Because now my opinion on The Sims 4 is like, I can travel to too many worlds. They need to limit that. Stop the clock. Stop traveling. But you couldn't do that when The Sims originally came out. It was focused very much just on you and your house and maybe a couple of community lots. So even just fast forwarding into the future a little bit, this was also before the release of The Sims 2. And even in The Sims 2 PC, you still couldn't go visit other people's houses. It was very much centered towards your house and community lots. Betwixt these two, The Sims Bustin' Out is released, and she's supposed to be the successor to The Sims. So in the timeline, that's before that. And also, this is the sequel to The Sims. And here is the cover of her for the Game Boy Advance. The idea that for The Sims Bustin' Out, you could jump on the back of a scooter and go visit whoever you want at any location was unfathomable. You can see how much this is a selling point of it by looking through the promotions of the time. Thank you to Steffo Sims for inspiring me to look at promotions. I really recommend Steffo Sims' video on the weird adverts of The Sims. But here to promote The Sims Bustin' Out, we've got an open door, welcome, limo, home ain't that sweet. And then it introduces you to some of the iconic characters. We've got Monalot, Fran Frufra, which is a lie because she's not actually at Pixelators, so that's false advertising. Goldie Toane and Randy Hard. Oh, sorry, I meant Randy Hart. Thank you. That's lasting a bit long, actually. And it's not just your Sims that can leave the house either. The Game Boy Advance version of this said, finally, you can carry something important to school. And obviously you've got The Sims Bustin' Out in the pocket. So the idea that your Sims could go out, but also you. So that's the entire premise of it, really. We know the selling point of the game, but what's the actual point of the game? What's the law? What's that purpose? So the point of the game is kind of similar in a sense to any Sims game. You start at the bottom of the ladder and you work your way up to the top, getting new items and making new experiences as you go. This advertisement describes this game as being the evolution of Simdom. It truly was. It focuses on a personalised board with all of the new objects that you can get out on the town. You can move, but you can visit new places. Working your way to the top, all about careers. There's 7 career paths for the Bust Out mode. Each have different goals. And then also enrich your life. Unlock 100 special items and fun social skills by interacting with other Sims, building friendship and completing goals. So that's the premise of it. Well, it is a lot more linear than the original Sims games, which are very open-ended sandbox. This one is very much, you have a goal and you best get to completing it, which we've seen with other things like The Sims Life Stories. But generally, The Sims is very it doesn't tell you what to do. This one does. Speaking of The Sims, funnily enough, this video is sponsored by Midas Merge. It's made by the designers of The Sims 3 and 4. It's a merge game, but it gives me the vibe of a farming sim, but it's all underpinned with a Greek storyline. So everything that you do is for a purpose. Restoring the island, because there's drama between Nyx, Leah, and King Midas as you play. So the world is shrouded in darkness because those are beefing. So you've got to feed creatures, and then those creatures basically poo out sunbursts, and those sunbursts illuminate the world. Because it combines multiple elements from different merge games, you have a wide variety of gameplay, so you're not just stuck doing one thing. The reason why I enjoy it so much is because I like to focus on sunbursts, but I also really like to focus on merging trees to make gems. My forest means so much to me. It might look like it's small, and you might think there is not that many trees there, Jessica, but that is because some of my trees are like, that's a pretty high tree level. I've been working really hard on that one. I've merged a lot. I am a genuine player of this game as well. I actively play Midas Merge. I clock in for this game. Here is my hours for the week. I can play it for so long. You don't have to. You can just pop on and play for a couple of minutes, but I like to genuinely spend about 2 hours at a time just working on my island. I end my nights with a podcast in the background, playing Midas Merge and just really chill out. And the creatures are so cute as well. You can get a little goldfish in a little bowl. You can also name your creatures as well. I obviously took the opportunity to name my creature Mr. Darcy, as I took the opportunity to name my car Mr. Carsey. You can download Midas Merge and find your own cute creatures and heal your own garden. It's completely free download as well, and Midas Merge are giving away a $500 Amazon voucher to players who download either using the link in the description or the QR code on the screen now and reach level 10. One winner will be selected. The rules for that will be in the video description. Good luck, and thank you to Midas Merge for sponsoring this video. I really wanted to travel back to that year, but with the context of a grown-up, like fully developed prefrontal cortex, because I was a kid at the time that it released, obviously. But I just wanted to find out a lot about the creation of it. And I came across Designer Diaries, where they actually sat down with the designers of the game and interviewed them. And what we're going to be speaking about next is it's specifically about the Sims console part and creating that. But the Sims Bustin Out obviously comes after that. So I still wanted to include it here because it's to do with the creation of the Sims Bustin Out. And when they were creating this, they asked Will Wright immediately for input so we could incorporate his vision in the console design. And I'm so curious, just how much input did he have? Because this is kind of wacky and The Sims 1 is kind of wacky. Did he see it and he was like, yeah, that's good enough? Or did he see it and I was like, nah, needs more weird shit? Genuinely, was the weird vibes of the early Sims games a Will Wright thing, or is it just a Sims thing? Although it could just be a Sims thing, because they also got input from the Sims product development team, and they requested objects be included like a strip poker table, a sonic shower. Genuinely seems like the Sims team's just like, does anybody want to match my flake? Then this is where this is really important. They consulted actual players of the Sims console version to find out what they liked or could improve upon. People said that they wanted more locations, more objects, more fun social interactions, and they really liked the characters. They liked Mam and how helpful she was, and they hated Dudley because he's such a slob, and very much true. So the feedback from the original part of The Sims, it gives a lot of information as to how The Sims Bustin Out ended up the way it did. Lots of focus on locations, lots of focus on social interactions, and more interesting characters we love to hate and love to woohoo. The second Designer Diaries does focus on the actual Sims Bustin Out and not the Sims 1 console part. And it's detailing all of the social aspects of the game, and I really do think that they put their entire Simalcy into this game, and I will never stop saying Simalcy. The Sims Bustin Out socials are some of the edgiest The Sims has ever seen. That's one of the benefits of building a Sims game for console. We can push the boundaries a little. Okay, we can push them a lot. What other game lets you experiment with spanking your friends or putting your mum into a headlock? Sims will either hate or love you. And they really did put an emphasis in this game on the love you or hate you section, because honestly, a lot of the interactions we'll encounter on our journey are either harassment, unsociable, or a little bit like fedora, you know? And they also talk about how each NPC has their own personality as well, and how they all have personal preferences. Some like choosing French kissing over romantic kissing, and they have their own signature move. So much like my signature move is through in Pride and Prejudice 2005 version, Sims in this game have their own signature moves too. And I think that's a really nice touch. I think that's one of the benefits of creating a spin-off game like this, because it's smaller, you can really focus on cultivating a story. It really lets you add so much personality to each character. Whereas that would be a criticism for a PC version of the game, for a console game. It gives it dare I say, a cozy vibe. This game is for the cozy girls only. The Sims is the grown-up version of dolls. How did people play with dolls as a kid? It wasn't all lovey-dovey. It was the most horrific, terrifying things that could ever happen to you playing out through dolls. And that's exactly how people play The Sims as well. So it's a cozy game, but at a cost. It's a bit of a misconception, actually, that life sim games are cozy. They are a gateway to sin. It was actually originally called The Sins, created by Will Wrong, but he changed his name to Will Wright and kind of wanted to make it more marketable to a global audience. So The Sins became The Sims. Will Wrong became Will Right. We will be doing an in-depth overview of every sim that belongs in this game, which hopefully won't take 4 hours, but it's still good. You never know. And we will get to know each sim and their signature move then. That's why I'm only kind of touching the surface of these. And some things you have to look forward to are pull my finger and use sign language. I just thought it was really interesting to know the thought process of the developers throughout the creation of the game and really understand why they focused on the things that they did. Why are you the way that you are? But in a positive sense, /Jen. The Sims Bustin Out really does have a huge focus on socials, and how did they manage this? How did they convey the so many human emotions and romantic rendezvous so seamlessly? They acted it out. So they got the Sims team. They were filmed acting out the social interactions. And some of the social interactions of this game are roll around on the shag rug. Love that for them. What did you do at work today, honey? Oh, well, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. Best for our relationship if I don't answer that. We've covered the physical. We know what Sims look like when they roll around on the shag rug. Designer Diaries number 3 is all about the audio. And I actually think that this is my favourite Designer Diaries because I wouldn't have even thought about the mass effort that went into the sound design of playing The Sims Bustin Out. I was shocked when I was playing it because I was like, oh my God, I'm at Dudley's house and I can hear pylons walking along, singing a song next to a great big pylon. And I was shocked by that, but that's done on purpose. Every sound in this game exists in the context of all that exists and that came before it. There's over 4,000 Simlish phrases specifically made for The Sims Bustin Out. It took them 240 hours. And as for the music, I'm sure most of you will know, but if you don't know, The Sims has always had some pretty respectable music collabs. We've had Black Eyed Peas, Paramore, Lily Allen, Give Me a Snicker, I need to get my Snoopy Doop. So we've always had kind of collaborations with big artists, but the creation of music in The Sims Bustin Out was different. Chris Wren is the audio producer, and he literally scoured people from San Francisco, signed them, literally got them signed, and had them record original music in Simlish, which is an insanely cool but very weird opportunity. Can you imagine ringing your mum up and being like, Mum, you're never going to believe it, I've been signed. And they'll be like, oh, I always knew I'd see something in your lyrics. Your lyrics are so beautiful and meaningful. Which song was the favourite? And then you just have to yip yip flurb. And it was a wide range of music too. We've got hip-hop artists, a death metal band, but they really went in on it. They even created their own Simlish slang. They were like, what slang will Sims come up with, and put that in the actual music. And all of this sound design, voices from Sims, music from the radio, is quietly supported by ambient sounds that give each place its own personality. Like I said with the characters, the console being a smaller part and with less places really lets them hone in on giving each lot its own personality. And each home has an ambient sound that represents it. Like I said with Dudley, his trailer having the hum of electricity because of the pylon right next to it. The Goth house has crows sounds that are circling it. So before you even travel to their lot to meet the Sims, just viewing their lot will give you an ambient sound effect. So you already gain an idea of the story behind the family that you're going to visit. And I think that is such a cool touch. And the final Designer Diaries is all about the weekend play in Bustin Out. We will go into in more detail further as part of the extras section, but this is the first time that the Sims franchise introduced the idea of weekends, I'm pretty sure. Whereas the usual style of gameplay, wake up, eat, work, come home, shower, eat, sleep, rinse, repeat, there is no weekends. You repeat that until your sim either gets fired or dies in a fire. I'm not sure which will come first, but the letters F-I-R-E will be involved. You can finally take time off. This is huge. It was just the same day, Groundhog Day before, and this is 2 whole days off. But do you think you've got no obligations during that weekend? Oh, no, mon cher. Weekends are a social construct that are constructed for the purpose of being social. Weekend play means that you can have friends round, and it's basically a pissing contest of who's got the most interactions. But you can swap these, you can swap objects that you've unlocked, you can swap social interactions that you've unlocked as well. And while I think this is really cool for a game released in 2004 on the console. I'm just hoping and praying that this isn't what The Sims 5 multiplayer will be like, because I think that unlockables are a cool thing for a linear storyline in a small spin-off of the game. I do not like unlockables for a main game that is a sandbox game. Too long, didn't listen. I think this is cool for 2004 and for a game with a linear plot, but not so cool for 2024 in an open-ended game. The two are not the same. So when I'm liking the unlockables of Bustin' Out, that does not mean I'd like the unlockables for The Sims 5. And that's the insight into the design of The Sims Bustin' Out. And it's clear from these diaries just how much passion went into it and how much thought. Obviously each aspect of the game has been developed because it's literally a game that went through development and then was released. But each version of development, you can tell the heart that went into it and the personality and the charm. It's very clear why it's become such a staple and is looked back at with such reverence. This is the embodiment of the Sims franchise for me. A whole lot of heart, a whole lot of horn, and a whole lot of weird. So it was released in December 2003 on the Game Boy Advance, Nintendo GameCube, my favorite console of all time, the original Xbox, and also the PS2. A classic. And it was also released for the Engage, a mobile phone that had the ability to run games in May 2004. You know that meme where it's like, Epcot? That's me with the Engage. It's on my mind constantly. Engage. I bet you think about me when you say, oh my God, that's Engage. I'm going to get engaged to it. Engaging, that's why. Or sometimes, you know what? I just don't think about names enough. And then I think about them and I'm like, oh, you really engaged me. But yeah, I think about the Engage a lot. And we'll be talking about the Engage more later. And if anybody has an Engage, find them and give them to me. Don't actually. Keep your Engage for yourself. Before we actually go into the game, you'll be met with Create Sim. And in Create Sim, we can change the name, age, and gender. We will only be focusing on adults in this section though. For now, because it's Bustin' Out, and in Bustin' Out, you have to start with an adult. And gender matters. This is before gay marriage, and The Sims was ahead of its time in that it normalised romance in anyone, but they didn't introduce gay marriage until The Sims 3, I think. In The Sims 2, it was a civil partnership. So you need to make sure that if you want to marry someone, they are the opposite gender. But you can romance anyone. But you just can't marry him, which is quite sad. Considering The Sims 2 wasn't even out yet, in The Sims 1, you could only pick a head, and that was it. That included the accessories, that included the mascara, that included the haircut, everything. And with this one, you can customize the eyes, nose, mouth, facial hair, glasses. You can pick the top, the bottom, and the shoes, and also the colour. The shoes weren't even separate in The Sims 2, which was released after this. And then as you go through the game, you can unlock more styles, the more NPCs that you talk to. If they've got a really ridiculous hat, you just know you're going to get a pop-up that says, you've unlocked a new Create Sim item. And it's like, oh, didn't really want that. And a lot of the clothes are so Y2K. If you're into the late 90s or early 90s styles, you will probably enjoy this game for just the fashion inspiration. Also, important to note, while you were getting ready, you will see at multiple times someone in a cat suit and binoculars looking through the window. Canonically, there is a bit of a perv in The Sims Bustin' Out. I just want to hone in on the personality for a second. It follows the style of The Sims 1. The Sims 2 picked this up as well, where you have personality points and you can spend them on things like being neat, outgoing, active, playful, nice. And it does actually impact gameplay a lot. If you have an outgoing sim, their social need will decrease faster, but they will gain the charisma skill faster. Some even have a preferred TV channel. Playful sims like to watch cartoons. Grouchy sims like to watch horror. It's a fun connection to make. You might want to give them all high traits like being really neat and being really playful, but then that might mean that your sim spends more time cleaning up and complain about being bored than they do building skills. But if you want to advance in the game easily, focus on the nice. If you want the chaos, make them less nice. Niceness is the main thing that gets you forward in this game, and also life, because you need to keep on top of friendships and continually build relationships, I guess in this game and life as well. And then whatever personality level you land on, the game will assign you a zodiac sign. You can also just randomize a zodiac sign and they will pick pre-assigned levels. But zodiac signs are important for romance. Much like people use zodiac signs to find and avoid matches in real life, the Sims are just like us, babe. They're just like us. I won't give an exhaustive list, but Cancers, which is my sign, are attracted to Taurus and Scorpios, and my best friend is a Scorpio, so that works for me. We would thrive in this game. but I would be unattracted to Geminis and Aries. One thing that I really like about it is how much this does impact how your Sims interact with other Sims in the world, because once you exit Create a Sim, a lot of your Sims experiences are completely out of your control. Obviously, you can control if they clean up, if they cook, but how they feel about that's got nothing at all to do with you anymore. Also want to talk about build buy before we step into the gameplay. Build is mainly used in free play. You can use it in bust out mode, but the focus on bust out mode is mainly just the unlocking objects. And there are a lot of objects. Build mode works in a similar way to how build mode in every Sims game ever has worked so far. There is the square grid. You can build a room, you can add doors and windows, you can add carpets, but there are no stairs. Everything is a bungalow. And you also have to water plants. And you will always leave a puddle after you have a bath. Which leads us on into objects. I'm not going to give an exhaustive list of objects. The main point of this game is to unlock social interactions, yes, but also objects as you complete different tasks. And I just wanted to highlight some of my favourites because there's a lot of objects and I can't give an exhaustive list. So first up, we have What's the Puck? Air hockey table. This is unlocked at Dudley's trailer. It will cost you 2,200 simoleons, but it gives you 5 fun. And obviously I picked this because what the puck? What the puck in Sigma? It just tickled me. Next up, an oldie, an iconic goodie, the Vibromatic Heartbed. Yes, she is here, unlocked at CASA CALIENTE for 4,500 simoleons. And this gives you a 1 in 8 chance of having a baby with the vibrate and play setting. A revised version of the Tragic Clown painting. He's had a makeover in this one. And this one is 80 simoleons. He doesn't need to be unlocked. And there is coding in this game that shows that the Tragic Clown was originally going to be part of it, but they axed him. Probably because he had a makeover. So that makeover was for nothing. I'm sorry, this is like America's Next Top Model where they completely ruin the hair and they're like, yeah, sorry, you're gone, you're gone. A simple one. Bounce my booty dance floor. He's bouncing off my booty cheeks. I love the way he rides. I don't think that was their intention, obviously, because that song didn't exist then, but it just tickled me. Another iconic one. Shamshag Polar Bear Rug. You can get this for 3,650 simoleons, a steal. I included this because 1, it makes returning love struck, and 2, because it really puts the shag in Shamshag. Another one unlocked at Casa Caliente, the Niagara Love Tub. This is 7,999 simoleons, but it does have the play option. And then the last one I'm included is just because I like the name. Spectre Detector. You can contact ghosts. This is unlocked at Goth Manor, naturally. But you can also tell fortunes on it. And then I wanted to have a different category for objects I don't think would be released now. Okay, just think about the time that this game was released. We know a lot more about mental health now. Didn't back then, so just keep that in mind. So these are some objects that I don't think would be released now. Bipolar by Connor. OCD systems. I do fucking love trains, so they got me good. And then the final one, it's not actually against mental health. Broil Bastard. I just find it hilarious that they included the word bastard in The Sims Bustin' Out. Bastard is a UK swear word, I'm pretty sure. Well, I am sure. I live in the UK. I had a great time in the buy section. So this is the objects that intrigued me. But another thing that intrigued me about the build buy section, I have read this front to back about 20 times and I found out some really interesting things. Objects actually have something called advertisements and they will give out an advertisement to your Sims. And that explains why they may do something absolutely just borderline ridiculous, like watch TV instead of go to the toilet and then wee themselves, because they might be closer to the TV, which is advertising more fun, so that will override that. For example, the phone gives off a really high social advertisement. Even if it doesn't fulfill that advertisement, it shows that it's going to have a really high social one, so your Sim will answer it and run to it. But I thought that was really interesting. So they give off different advertisements and that impacts the autonomy. And that is the end of build and buy. We've done lots of buying, not much building. Welcome to the world. Sim Valley is actually where most of the console games are set, and it is also canonically the same place that we talk about when we get to the GameBoy Advance section of the video. They're different, but canonically they are the same. Bustin' Out released with 13 houses. When they originally showed it at E3, there was supposed to be a lot more characters, but they limited it, and we have 13. Most of these are not available. yet, because as you progress through the levels, you unlock places. So that's what we'll be doing. I thought I would take you on this journey and you can experience what it's like to play The Sims Bustin' Out, I guess, through the form of YouTube video. Where you live is influenced by your career, so you may have to juggle careers if you want to unlock every single one. We are just going to go through POV. You have unlocked every single career, and that is definitely not me cheating, because I never cheat out. I actually physically cannot play a Sims game without cheating. It's bad. So it all depends on your career. In the Bust Out version, there are 7 careers to choose from. That is a pretty wide variety though, considering the town is so small. The first one is movie star. Despite starting as a mall clown, you somehow become a sex symbol, which is not my words. Next, we've got mad scientist, because is it even The Sims without this type of career? The Sims loves to have some form of weird sci-fi something going on. You start off as a lab cleaner and you end up as a death ray inventor with the intention of killing everybody. So maybe I suggest therapy with that one on the side. Counterculture, which has a kitchen furniture set from The Sims 3 named after it. Only choose this one if you hate yourself though, because it has an insane amount of skills to build, a lot of friendships to keep on top of, and you also just don't even earn that much to justify all that. But the names of each promotion are funny. With Jock, you work your way from the Llamas, which is SimCity's minor league team, to a living legend, who the residents of SimCity show with a ticker tape parade, whatever that is. Then Gangster. This is the one I chose, and man, it felt good to be a gangster. I had a great time. The uniform is great as well. You start off as a petty vandal, and then you move on to shoplifting, good morning shoplifters, and eventually become a mob boss. Then paramilitary. You clean poo, and then you clean shoes. Then you rise that career ladder and become a secret agent, a code breaker, and you don't even need any friends until level 6, which is great because you probably won't make any. And then finally, you have fashion victim. I don't know why it's fashion victim and not fashion, because you start off as a hand model, you move on to star on the stars, and eventually become a supermodel yourself. So why is the victim necessary? Why is it not just fashion? I don't know. Maybe someone on the Sims team is really burned by the fashion industry. Maybe they're the victim. So you might be looking at this and thinking, oh, well, there is only one house unlocked. Yes, Mum's house. This is where we start the game. But also, technically, it's not. Clickbait. You don't start the game there. Mum's house. You're in the club and you'll either kiss Candy Fruity or Peter Tooty, depending on which gender your sim is. And then you'll get a notification come up. Wow, that was dreamy. You're a great kisser. And honing in on that particular word there, dreamy. The reason that it's dreamy is because it is an actual dream. And we get jerked out of this, maybe that's the wrong word, epic love scene, because our mum comes in with a dressing gown, slippers and everything and wakes us up and says, get up! Malcolm is stealing your scooter. And that's where it starts. So from the dream sequence, we are now at Mum's house. So we have 2 new Sims mentioned there. So first off, Mum. Let's go over this one. This is Mum. She is obviously our mum. But is she? Because I actually had the option to try and score with her. I didn't do it, but I think this is our mum and that's just an oversight. Pretty big oversight though. And it's not the only time it happens in this game. But Mum herself is quite the character. She's exceptionally neat, level 9 actually, and she's active, playful, outgoing and nice. She's got to be outgoing with that fucking outfit and those shoes. I don't know why you dare look horrified, love. I'm horrified at you. And we live with her obviously in this house here, which is actually a farmhouse. It's surrounded by farms and animals nearby, quite quaint. So you'll hear the sounds of a moo and stuff like that. So if you're a country girl, I love you. I didn't really want to leave by the end of it though. It's quite cushy in there. But she will badger you a bit because her signature move is nag about house, which is fair. We do live there rent free. Or maybe we don't. I mean, we do have to. The thing is, Malcolm is who we are supposed to pay rent to. And if you don't pay rent, Malcolm comes and steals your item. And obviously, Malcolm stole our scooter. So who is Malcolm? He is the entire antagonist of the game. He goes around stealing everyone's objects because he thinks he's the dog's bollocks. He has no signature social interaction. There is nothing about him apart from being a sturdy lying thief with a silly little hat with sunglasses on it. But he is very neat and outgoing, you know, every cloud, silver linings and all that. He's level 0, active, playful and nice though. Checks out. Although he is quite active when he's run away from our property. Hippity hoppity, get off my property. And he's got quite a high creativity skill too, which I imagine you would have to have quite the imagination to justify robbing everyone in town. There's lots of hoops that you would have to jump over mentally for that. But we've got some drama because Malcolm and our mum used to be together. That's right, Malcolm is our ex-stepdad. He is not my stepdad or the dad that stepped up. The only step that man has took is one in the wrong direction, because what, pray tell, is that suit? And despite the fact that it was our mother who dated him, not us, he steals our scooter. Leave the kids out of it, Malcolm. You can afford your own scooter. So that's the drama between them. That's how they're connected. And as for you, as you're playing through this game, Mum's house is the place to be. She cooks, she doesn't clean. Your motive's also decay store here, because whatever divine powers rule the universe felt sorry for Mum that she ever dated a land grab. So it must have been like, you know what, just slow their knees down a little bit. She's gone through enough. So that makes Mum's house the perfect place to start your game and also kind of learn how to play it. Unfortunately, I did not know that going in, and I just ran at the chance to move house and dearly paid the price and had lots of suffering. But also my suffering playing this game never really ended. At every level I struggled. I don't know how kids done it. This is a tutorial lot pretty much. So the goals are activate double speed, eat enough to fill your stomach, use a toilet to empty your bladder, do fun stuff to raise your fun level, use a newspaper to find a job, and that gets you the Cancilla 75 Super Scooter. And that unlocks Dudley's trailer. Sorry, I should be more neutral towards him. And also Mimi's place. Where you go depends on what career you have. All this time, I forgot I have a pointer. So just to go over the genetics. Malcolm Landgrab, this is our mum. The two did not have a child together. I was born, or you were born, whichever one, whoever you're pretending is the character, born to a different person. Not Malcolm, thankfully. Mimi and Dudley Landgrab, they are Malcolm's children. They are brother and sister. We are not related to them. This is Mimi, Mimi's house. This is Dudley, Dudley's house. Oh, bang. To get to Dudley's house, you have to be a mad scientist, gangster, paramilitary. What? Paramilitary, there we go, or jock. Choose one of those four, you'll end up at this place. Sorry about that. As for Dudley himself, he's very outgoing and playful, but he's not very neat or nice at all. His signature interaction is burping face, and his home kind of reflects that because he is in fact very dirty. He has a level 10 cooking skill though, which at least he can add something to the table, pardon the pun, whether that be food. I hope it's food. Like I said, he's the son of Malcolm Landgrab, but I don't necessarily paint them with the same brush because Malcolm actually cut up Dudley's credit cards. To be fair to Malcolm, listen, I am not devil's advocating. I'm not devil's advocating. But to be fair to Malcolm, he did buy a hot tub and a pool table on that credit card. This is... Sorry, didn't mean to touch you there. That is your no-no square. Is that the reason that Malcolm's resorting to crime? Because he's had to steal the items from his son to pay off the credit card. And he's like, do you know what? I actually kind of like this. Dudley is described as having good laughs and bad manners, which is pretty accurate, I would say. The lot itself is a trailer, and its motto is, what's that smell? Can you believe that? It does have a lot of fun objects in it, like the air hockey table that got Dudley cut off, but Malcolm does come and steal that. So it's pretty much a party place. But it also, as we said earlier, has a fun sound detail. This is the one that has electrical wiring because of the pylons. As for the family goals, the game is still easing you into playing it, so a lot of the family goals are kind of settling in guides, like interacting with another sim to get your social up, getting to know Dudley better if you dare, having a skill point in cooking so you don't kill yourself and the house and ruin everything there. Because Malcolm needs something to steal, you can't burn it all down. And you also invite your mum over to your new place, and that gets you her signature social interaction, nag about house. And you will want to nag Dudley about that house. Believe me, you will. Because you're also expected to clean up all of Dudley's rubbish as a goal. And Dudley just keeps accumulating it. If things aren't already tense enough between you, your mum, your ex-stepdad and your ex-step-siblings, you have to go to Mimi's house and get her to pull your finger. But you do unlock the big mouth chair for this, so a win is a win. In Mad Scientist, you work to become a potion tester, and I think I've seen this film before. And for all of that strain, you get a torch. But you get promoted again to Pyro, and you unlock one step up from a torch. A light. You also unlock Shiny Things Labs and can move to Goth Manor. In the gangster career, you progress to being a shoplifter and then a burglar, which for some reason unlocks a serenade social. I'm not too sure why, but if anybody is robbing me, first of all, please don't. But if you were ever in the situation where you were robbing me, unfortunately, if that had to happen, but I hope it doesn't, but if it ever did, I'd probably prefer a serenade as you were doing it. I'd prefer not to be robbed, but if I was to be robbed, would I rather be serenaded while being robbed? I think so. I think so. Money, 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 as I'm being robbed. I get knocked down, but I get up again as they're knocking me out. For this one, you unlock Club Rubb to visit and Toane's gym to move to. For paramilitary, the 2 promotions you can get unlocks a gaming device. A good one is like 5,000 simoleons. You still have to buy it, but it unlocks the ability to buy it. And then get promoted again, and you think you might get somewhere better than that. You just get a portable uplight. Does not even a downlight. Not even an all-around light. Just an uplight. Bless. And for this, you can visit the Octagon or move to Toane's gym. Finally, for the jock career, you unlock my favourite object, what the puck, hockey table as a ball collector. And then you also get a neon flamingo sign when you're promoted again to a rookie, which flamingos are the epitome of the Sims franchise to me. Gnomes, flamingos, llamas, the holy trinity. Back to the plot, you unlock Toane's gym to move to. Then for Mimi's place, you end up here if you're the counterculture, fashion victim, or movie star careers. And Mimi Landgrab, the woman that you are, our ex-stepsister, I just love that outfit. She's quite inspiring to me, actually. Didn't like her when I was playing, then really liked her when I was playing, then loved her when I was playing, and then found out I couldn't marry her when I was playing, so... and it is weird that she's our stepsister, ex-stepsister, but we're not related, okay? The aim of the game was just a romance. That's the ghost of Mimi coming back. She said, I miss you. I didn't go as far as romance now, ma'am. And it did give me that option, and I didn't do that. But Mimi's really neat, playful, and outgoing with a cooking skill of 10, so she is a perfect housemate. Lovely to get along with, you would think, based on evidence. Like, looking at her personality and Mimi or Dudley, you probably get on with Mimi better, but no. Mimi rejects all of this. She said, I don't care what my personality is. I'm going to act in juxtaposition to that. And she will just swear at your sim if you move in with her. She's a bit of a bitch, to be honest. Signature social interaction is to brag about money, which is really funny because she's got none. But the lot is very girly pop. Apparently she aspires to be a material girl punk, but now she's only been able to afford cheap knockoffs and sale items from department stores, which is interesting because, like Dudley, she's being cut off from Malcolm Landgrab. He is literally on one. He is going around the town and everything. They are land grabbers, but her house is still really nice. Even when Malcolm comes and steals the beverage bar and the gourmet stove. What a prick. It's supposed to be like a 80s type vibe. I like it. But I like the 80s style. Most of the goals here are the kind of the same as Dudley's, like get to know Mimi, invite Mum over, but the rewards are different. So you unlock the sign language social and give money. But then the goals deviate. Where Dudley had you cleaning everything, Mimi has you fixing everything, because that's right, these siblings can do absolutely nothing for themselves. But you do unlock the repairman when you repair the espresso machine. That's me espresso. For counterculture, you get leaflet distributor and basket weaver, which gets you a gourmet stove and the Confucius wall lamp. I would absolutely love to be a basket weaver. Sign me up. You can visit Pixel Acres and move to Studio 8. Fashion victims, listen up. Lingerie model and body waxer. Why fashion victim, not just fashion? Because they sound appropriate for a fashion job, but not a fashion victim job. I would think a fashion victim job would be like fall on runway. Although that's an action really anyway. But you get the Slush Rush bar counter and the Venue Spice dresser. Again, Studio 8 is available to move to. Movie stars go from a kiddie show sidekick to a stunt double. And with this one, you unlock the gossip social interaction. Love it. And the exoticalism floor lamp. And it unlocks Tinsel Bluffs to visit and the Goth Manor to move to. And that's Dudley and Mimi's place. The kind of tutorial lots, like I said, before you get into the hard goals. Although, let it be known, I found nearly every goal in this game hard. My most said phrase of the past couple of months has been, how have kids done this? How do you do this? Will you vervigs? I fear I may have been a little premature when I took all that time to cut out paper to fit over these to hide them, because now we're on level 3 and pretty much all of the paper is gone. So there was no need in me doing that really, but all of these places are now unlocked. If not to live in, then to visit too. So you can visit all of them. The 3 houses you can live in at level 3 is Goth Manor, Toane's Gym and Studio 8. We'll start with Goth Manor. I'm sure that you know who the Goths are, but if you don't, this is Bella Goth, this is Mortimer Goth. She's got red hair in this one, which is interesting. Experimenting with your look, babe. Preparing for what? I don't know. Disappearing? Hiding your hair so people don't recognize you so you can go hide in Strange Town? She's very creative in this game. A level 7. And you would need to be creative to find a way to get rid of Cassandra Goth for this game, because she is not here, even though she's canonically in The Sims 1, and that this is canonically a sequel. Maybe she's at boarding school. Maybe she's at university. Maybe she's just testing the waters in Strangetown. We don't know. But Bella is very neat and nice. So maybe that doesn't fit a character. Maybe she hasn't sent her daughter off to Strangetown. Her signature social interaction is nag about friends, which I'm surprised that she's managed to keep any with that attitude. And she's a little bit cuckoo in this one. And I really respect that. When I say the Goths are a bit wild, this is exactly what I mean. Her name in Italian means beauty, and it fits her better than her red leather corset. That's leather! Descended from a long line of occultists, mystics, and decadents, she has thrown convention to the wind. Her disdain for the pedestrian and normal is only matched by her sense of ennui and isolation. She distracts herself from this world with a little organ practice and exotic gardening of the lethal variety. So, not to flanderise, right, but the Goths were kind of normal in Sims 1. A little odd, because they lived in an old house with a graveyard, but still. Kind of normal. She's thrown all caution to the wind now in this version of the game. She's like, yeah, you know what? I see ghosts. I see dead people. But with all of this combined, she's still got time to be the movie star career. She's my favourite version of Bella Goth so far, I think. Not looks-wise, but personality-wise. Mortimer is a bit of a silver goth with this. Silver goth. I mean, I guess so. Silver fox, I meant. A fun fact that I found out when I was researching this is in the intro, he's playing air hockey with the Grim Reaper and he loses. And that is supposed to be a reference to him going grey, like he's losing the fight against the clock, technically. I never would have caught that, which is really interesting because we know that he makes a life potion which gives you extra life. And that's part of the reason why Bella might have gone missing. I never would have caught that detail. But that is so interesting. I would have watched the intro and have watched the intro and been like, Jesus, that guy's bad at hockey. But I would have not been like, oh, maybe this is hinting at, you know, the overarching theme of like Mortimer trying to get younger and not winning. Despite the losses, he is outgoing and playful and he's got a creativity skill of 7, which makes a lot of sense because he is oft busy synthesizing music, whatever that's supposed to mean. And his signature move is to kiss hand, as we can see here, Exhibit A. That is very Gomez Adams of him. And the lot is supposed to be a Victorian abode and apparently creepier than ever. It's even got the sound of crows when you select it on the map. But it's more like a Victorian dungeon than a Victorian house, if anything, because there's a lot of stone that's being used on the exterior. Rather than, I mean, I don't know much about American Victorians, to be honest. And as we've said with Bella, it's said that she's a gardening fanatic. There's a purpose-built greenhouse in the back garden for her. She loves gardening that much. And if you can't really see, but if you pretend you can see right here, this creates mutant plants. And this is the mutant plant. The mutant plant lives here. And I'm speaking about it as if it is a real entity because it does have the power to kill your Sims. Nobody is safe. And people actually utilize this and kill the maid with it when they're playing in the Goth household. So the maid can walk through walls to make cleaning faster. Interesting. Kind of looks like a Demogorgon. So that's the story of the evil plant. Well, you know what? He's not evil if he's just doing what he's born to do. Could be a bit evil though, to be fair. As well, the Goths have always had a graveyard in the house. Does a pope shit in the woods? Bella is a bit like, do you know what? I'm already haunted with the thoughts of running away from my family and expediting myself to Strangetown ASAP. My husband's acting a bit weird at Casa CALIENTE. She's too busy being haunted by that. She can't be haunted by actual ghosts too. Just not fair. She hasn't got the time. Which leads us into the plot. So firstly, Malcolm, back at it again. And he has the nerve to steal the seance table from Bella. He is trying to summon the spirit of Margaret Thatcher and he's also stole the skeleton display, as you can imagine. The Goths are distraught about this. But what's even worse, guys, is a fern has also been stolen. It's just shocking at the end of the day. People have got no respect for plant life. Naturally, it's down to you as the player to solve the Goths' problems. So you have to become friends with Bella or Mortimer. It's up to you. Which lets us unlock, depending on who we become friends with, the nag about friends social or the kiss hand social. It's still a bit tutorial-y. You have to control another sim that gets you the ability to tell a story. And you find out that not only is Malcolm landgrab stealing, but Dudley landgrab is not just a land grabber, but he is a fern grabber. The Goth's missing fern is behind Dudley's... Oh, excuse me. Sorry, Dudley. I just put you through there. It's behind his trailer. But you find this and you do unlock a new vehicle. I don't know if this is a setup by Malcolm to ruin his reputation. Not that there was much of a reputation to be ruined, but also it is rumoured that Dudley is a burglar because he leaves the house at the same hours that burglars do. And if that's the case, he's a very bad one because we found the fern. We got the fern back. His father is much better at that, unfortunately, because we don't recover those items. And instead of dipping into generational wealth to replace them, you have to buy 1,000 simoleons worth of improvements for the Goth Manor. But When you do that, funny, you do unlock the seance table, which lets you do the final family objective, which is exercising the ghosts of Morty, I think that's Mortimer, and Whaler. You know, I think it's like the ghost version of them. I don't actually think these have any relation. I think these fall under the categories of goths, but of no relation. We don't know how they're related, and it's never really explained. I think it's just like a silly little thing of like, oh, let's just put some ghosts in with names that sound like Mortimer and Bella. God rest their souls. I mean, they're fine. They're just enjoying themselves, but we've got to get them out of this world. So we have to use a seance table at night 2 times. It takes 2 times to do this, to exorcise these spirits. That's a spirit. You just exorcised a ghost. Now they can finally rest in peace. And this unlocks the anatomical skeleton display, so we can replace what Malcolm stole. And the careers for this one are mad scientist and movie star, because that is what Mortimer... Hello, my love. Hello. Everybody say hello. Oh, my baby boy, he's so big. My baby. Okay, he's going down. I hope everybody said hello to my cat. So the careers for this one are mad scientist and movie star, because that is what they are naturally. For mad scientist, you get promoted to virus breeder, which is a touchy subject in our generation, obviously, and chemist, which unlocks the genie incubator, which is cool because it builds logic skill, and this lets you breed your own Demogorgon type plant that murders. And you also get a toilet. Nice. And you unlock the Shiny Things lab to move to or visit. For movie star, you're promoted to a horror movie extra, which is very fitting for the house. They match that well. And then a soap opera star, and you get the Timmeltech Symphony synthesizer, which builds creativity. And also on this, you can make everybody naked. More on that later. And do the magic trick social interaction. Club Rubb, the place we are at the beginning, making kissy faces, is also available to move or visit. And that is Goth Manor. My favourite goth story so far. Ish. Maybe not. Oh, you just can't be Bella disappearing, can you? You can't. You just simply can't. Now for Toane... So I was picking up this. That's not my usual entrance and exit. But for Toane Gym, these are Goldie and Max Toane. They are actually siblings. But unfortunately, once again, the game doesn't register their family connection. So they can actually fall in love with each other. Like we can fall in love with our mum. Not cool. But together they own Toane Gym. And they don't own it very well, because it's not going well. Goldie herself is neat, active and playful with a body skill of 7. Her signature social interaction is to nuggy. She loves to work out. She's always working out. She's always pumping that iron. She will literally pump iron until she passes out. Bit unhealthy. Max is the same. Just pumping it. But he's really outgoing, whereas Goldie is more on the shy side. But they're the same level of playful. He's also not very nice, which you can tell because he's farting on her in that picture. And his body is level 6, so Goldie is better, and I know that kills him. And his signature social move is bear hug, because he gives where's my hug type energy, and that is a true fact. The lot itself is a gym. It's very literal. It's so literal, in fact, that there is actually not a bedroom for you in this place. You can make one, but what it lacks in bedrooms, it makes up for in activities, because it's got a pool, a hot tub, a diving board, workout equipment. It's got quite a bit, actually. And it also did have a climbing wall and a treadmill, but Malcolm stole it. And that's because Malcolm truly believes in his heart of hearts that Toane's Gym is a failure and also a money pit, and also is actively failing because it's a failure. So he's like, listen, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in you. I'm going to steal your stuff to make sure you fail, and then I'll be able to say, I told you so. And obviously the dilemma of this falls on you, because Goldie and Max are like, oh my God, we're harming a glitch now. I wish that we could have a way to get people to join our gym. And instead of them going out and like making friends and doing something for themselves, no, it's on you. So we have to go out and do that. These are all on level 3. Some of the goals are the same as Goth Manor, obviously applied to their own house, like make friends with Goldie or Max, control another sim, and buy 1,000 simoleons worth of improvements. But the rewards change again for it. So we get the Nuggy social, Snap Towel social, and we also get a toilet. Love giving us toilets. And then the other goals focus, like I said, around building up the reputation of the gym. And to do that, you need to have friends. But don't have friends at your house, because that would be too easy. And it would be too easy because guests have to be fed in order for a party to stay alive and happening. And you have to have this at a lot that is pretty much out of your control. The party happens at Dudley's place, of all places. So not only is it filthy, he might cook for you, but it's only a might. And then you can't use his stuff. Oh, I've really struggled with this goal. And you have to have a level 25 with at least every single sim there. But every time you host a party, different Sims turn up. So if you fail this the first time, you might as well be starting from the beginning the next time. And that's if you even get to make an attempt at it, because if your Sims go hungry, they will go home, or the police will come and break the party up. So really difficult. And a lot of this game does rely on parties. But once you've done that and you've made at least level 25 with every sim, we complete the goal, get a new car. And then we have to use all of our new friends, and we have to basically MLM them, get them into a pyramid scheme. I actually don't think it counts as a pyramid scheme, but use them and be like, sign up to my gym, please. Do you want to be friends? Okay, sign up to my gym. Thank you. And you have to do this at a party. And then ask anyone who you're a friend with, so a relationship of at least 50, if they want to join the gym. If it's under 50, they'll be like, absolutely, I would rather shit in my hands and clap. Over 50, they'll be like, I'd love to support a friend. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Very stressful, quite fun. And you do get a DJ booth for your struggles, so worth it. And the careers here are gangster, no longer a shoplifter. You actually get promoted to car thief and mugger. And that gets you a diving board and a sonic shower. And you unlock CASA, CALIENTE, my favourite place on earth to move to. For jocks, you move up to being a starter and then an all-star, and you unlock the climbing wall that Malcolm stole, and also the Aeromaster Whiffer Puff Gold. It's an object that's actually quite cool because it can passively feed a motive. So you can set it to juniper and roseberry, for example, for energy, and that will passively feed you energy. And that will mean that you have to sleep for a shorter amount of time. Or you can use it for social, so you can have a higher positive social interaction. But it does cost 50 quid every time you use it. So, and you can't use it if it's broken because it will have noxious fumes, which is not good. Anyway, Club Rubb is your next stop after that. And for paramilitary, you become a paratrooper, which allows you to show off your muscles with a new social interaction. And then a chopper pilot, which unlocks the Miss Mimo Sleeper, which is kind of like a bed that looks like a car. Shiny Things Labs is your next move. So that's Toane's gym. This is where I personally went on my playthrough, and I kind of look back in horror at just how bad I was at the game, because I put my bed in this bathroom because I thought, I don't want to share with them. So I actually just put myself out. My Sims weren't doing very well. I do a lot of things differently now looking back. But I can't even say hand on heart I tried my best. I don't think I did. I think I could have done much better if I'd have used this brain for 1 second. And then finally, we have Studio 8 with Artie and Charity. Charity Grant is very messy. She's also shy and lazy, but she's extremely playful and nice. And she's got a cooking and creative skill of 5. Charming Charity has been called a national treasure, the high priestess of modern art, and a goofball. As one of the key creators of the anti-meaning movement in the 1990s, Charity has been often imitated but never duplicated. Art fans worldwide prize her early work painted with snakes and snails and puppy dog tails. Conservative lawmakers cut off her funding, however, after she unveiled her latest masterpiece, a 20-foot-long, nude, anatomically correct cinder block. Her signature social interactions tell lies, so take all of that with a pinch of salt. And then we've got Artificial. Oh my god, Artificial! And Charity Grant, like a grant that you give to charity. Guys, I've connected the 2 dots. You didn't connect shit. Anyway, he makes up for how messy Charity is. He's got a neat level of 10. And he's neither outgoing nor shy. He's kind of mid-range, playful and nice. Mid. And his signature social interaction is to fake out. He's got a cooking skill of 5, but has only got a creative skill of 1. And this man runs an art gallery. What I'm hearing is it's all charming Charity. Artie is a one-man romanticism revival. Nationalism is his main aesthetic influence, but on a personal, almost selfish level. A nationalism of the self, the ego and the universe. Total individual perception. Self-absorption. Self-centeredness and concern only for one's own made-up symbols, ideas and language. His works in his life, even his conversation, are on a whole different level, even from other artists. Did we mention Artie is a bit focused on himself? You deserve nothing. Charity should abandon you. I'm not glad that Malcolm stole from Charity, but I am kind of glad that Malcolm stole from Artie. And then as for the lot, this is Studio 8. They both opened it, but nobody's really turning up. Because we've got Artificial running an art gallery. That's why nobody's turning up. So because nobody's turning up and buying their art, if you can't buy their art, they can't pay their rent. So Malcolm stole their pottery wheel and marble block. Cause he's a bitch. And again, same goals of making friends with them, renovations and controlling them. But you get the fake out or tell lies social and the sissy fight social and a bead your phone guitar. And then for the rest of the family goals, Mimi is back in the picture because we have to go to Mimi's house and make sure she's okay. And she's more like her brother than she realizes because there is rubbish all over the place. This particular screenshot is from a Let's Play I was watching, and he gets to the place. He's like, why do I have to check if she's okay? Like, she's fine. What's going on? And then it pans around the back and he's like, oh my God. Oh my God. So there's just rubbish everywhere. So you have to shock horror, clean this all up for her. Hope she's okay. She could have helped though. She could have lent a hand. But you get the Cruiser Leviathan vehicle, so it could be worth it. And then to promote Studio 8, we have to have a great opening by rearranging the art. This unlocks the Craft King Potter's Wheel. In typical Sims fashion though, one thing that I noticed about this game, it is not that literal, because this isn't actually about rearranging art at all. Having objects with high environment helps, but it's mainly about throwing a party shock and keeping everyone's fun up, getting everybody round and gaming. It doesn't even have to have anything to do with art. And they'll be like, oh my God, I spent so much time gaming, I didn't even notice all the horrific art. This was fun. Huge success. And that is apparently, that's enough to save the business. Who said video games were bad? Who said video games didn't do anything? We have the counterculture and fashion victim careers here. You go from a flower child to a massage therapist in counterculture. You get the artist block and the 9-step love yourself wall lamp. The lover lamp. As well as unlocking, once again, CASA CALIENTE to move to. Fashion victim, on the other hand, you get promoted to a fingernail painter and then a wig designer, which gives you a laser light show and the air kiss interaction, with Club Rubb available to move to. And that is level 3. Bada boom. Our next stop in Sims Valley is Shiny Things Labs, which is located here on the map. CASA CALIENTE, which is here, matters CASA, and also Club Rubb, which is kind of smack bang in the middle of the map. So with all that, let's go. For me, CASA CALIENTE really embodies the horniness of the early Sims games. She is everything. Her hot date, nightlife, and love struck are the 4 horsemen of my Sims apocalypse. This place made me laugh. It made me cry. It broke my spirit. But it also built it right back up again, to be fair. Meet Randy Hart and Paisley Rainbow. They both have exactly the same personality and skills, but surprisingly, they're not actually in a relationship with each other yet. But they could be. It's up to you. They're both incredibly messy, but then the normal amount of outgoing, and they're both extremely lazy. But they're very playful and nice, at least, so there's that. And they both have a cooking skill of 6. Paisley's signature move, Booty Spank. And I absolutely love it. I used it an incredible amount. It went down like a treat 40% of the time. So, not that good payoff, but a very good move nonetheless. Randy's is French Kiss, and he absolutely loves this. He will try and make a move on any one of your Sims with the French Kiss. He's all about free love. Any Sim. Paisley, on the other hand, she's not in a relationship with Randy, but she does get in a relationship with Randy. Randy will repeatedly cheat on her. No loyalty, that man. And you might be in shock, but Randy's motto, I've already said it, is literally free love, man. So he's very open about his behaviour, to be fair. But yeah, she becomes like, she would be in love with him if they fall in love. She's all about Randy. And then CASA CALIENTE. This is the actual CASA. Mi casa es su casa. And this comes before Nina and Dina Caliente, remember? So this might be a home that was in the family. It might be ancestors. We often talk about the alien side of the family. This could just be the other side. Randy and Paisley might not be Calientes by name, but they are Calientes by heart because they woohoo. They've decorated the house to reflect that. Woohoo rug. Right in front of the fire. Love heart windows. It did used to have the iconic love bed, as you can see right there, and also the iconic love heart-shaped hot tub. But guess what? Guess who? Shock horror. Malcolm Landgrab, once again, back and stole it. So they actually, when you play it, that they no longer have that. Sorry. But it's got all these because, according to its description, this is the Love Shack, baby. Plain and simple. CASA CALIENTE is surfing USA, blended with 60s shagadelic goodness. And Randy Hart is the love god in charge of it all. If you can't make a new friend here, it's time to rethink your create sim choices. Well, that was a lot to take in. But first off, the family goals. It's increased now, but remember, we're level 4. We need to buy 1,500 simoleons worth of improvements for the place. I should say I am being dramatic by being like these robbing bastards, but you do also get all of the money back when you update a house and you move on to the next one. They're like, thank you for doing this, reimburse you. And it also works the other way. So if you rob them and delete all of their money, delete all of their items to keep money for you, then you will recharge that money. They said you can be a gangster. You can even be a shoplifter. But don't you ever think about thieving. Make it make sense. He said that's Malcolm saying you better not. But completing this gets you the polar bear rug. So you can woohoo on it. You also have to get a sim to fall in love with you and then invite them over. And you receive the Hawaiian Fantasy Tiki Torch. And then remember Studio 8 that we were there last level? Apparently they're struggling again because they simply cannot run a business. So we have to help them with outsider art, which once again, guys, this is not straightforward. Helping with outsider art does not mean maybe find an outsider to do the art. It means you are the outsider. And also there's an easel at Studio 8 and you have to paint on it. It's just a strange way of wording things. Maybe the issue is me, but potentially it could be. But I did it anyway. I Googled it. Maybe they worded that way on purpose, so it is purposefully obtuse. But it gives us that 70s window, and then the gangsters and counterculturists can visit the Goth Manor. Remember, only certain places are available for certain careers, and you have to do multiple careers to unlock it all. So not all of these houses will be unlocked for every career. The hardest possible thing I've ever done in this game was actually Casa Caliente. It had me with my head in my hands, and it's scoring with 2 sims at the same party. And it sounds simple. If you're in love with 2 sims, you should be able to do it. No bother. But no, factor in that you also have to work and you also have to manage your Sims needs and you also have to get your skills up and you also have to cook for them, because if you have a party and they don't have food in their mouth at all points, then you are the hosted with the leastest and you are horrible person. How dare you even show your face? And then also on top of that, on top of trying to have a successful party and get with 2 people, you can't really let them see you getting with the other person because they might be upset. Getting them there in the first place is also difficult because, like I said earlier, parties change. Whoever comes to parties changes every time. So you've also got to go on the phone and ring them up and invite those people over specifically. All of this on a time crunch. Genuinely, this might sound dramatic, and I am dramatic at the end of the day. I was genuinely welling up over how difficult I found this task. I read game guide after game guide. I even watched Let's Plays in different languages and just tried to context clue my way through the video. And then I actually found a way to do it and I completed the goal within 2 seconds. And I've never felt relief like that in a long time. And even then, with completing the goal within 2 seconds of the party starting, I completed the goal, got a notification that the goal was complete, and then I got a notification the party has ended. And the way that I done it was just having them on the shag rug. It's the shag rug always. It's the answer to all questions. That's why she's got such a prominent place there. And that unlocks the romantic kiss social, which lets you complete the next goal, find a neighbour who knows about candelabras. Again, with the whole not clear description of names things. Find a neighbour about candelabras. Do any of my neighbours know about candelabras? Apparently they're supposed to be Mortimer and Bella, which they do, out of all my neighbours, they do look like the type to know about candelabras. But then from that, right? Mortimer and Bella, no candelabras. Wait, no, context clues. We unlocked the romantic kiss interaction. Then maybe that should have been obvious that we used the romantic kiss interaction on Mortimer or Bella. But also, we are in Casa Caliente. I was going to say, I don't want to be in the way of a married couple, but we're in Casa Caliente, you know? So yeah, but it means that you have to romance them, have a successful romantic kiss interaction with Mortimer or Bella, and then you unlock a candelabra from that. Naturally. Casa Caliente is a fever dream. You also have the option to get married here, but I'm not going to focus on that yet. This entire thing is basically woohoo. And considering Nina and Dina came after this house, I think they've done the family name justice. They even surpassed it, to be honest. If there's one lesson to be learned, a Caliente will always romance a Goth. Gangsters get promoted to bodyguard and arsonist. I want to know who has to sit there and come up with all these titles. And it gives you the force to slap self interaction and the love tub as well, with pixel acres available to move to. Counterculture, on the other hand, has promotions to toga instructor, which is very funny, and the vibromatic heartbed, the vibrating one, and also a tent, and also pixel acres to move into. So that is Casa Caliente. Suave. Next up on this level, Shiny Things Labs. You are here if you are in the Mad Scientist or Paramilitary. Kind of makes sense. We're not in Casa Caliente anymore. I no longer have the horn. Here we have Makino Nada and Vaughn Braun. I've seen multiple spellings of this name. I've seen it M-I-K and I've seen it M-A-K. She's very active and playful and also somewhat nice and outgoing. Somewhat. Has a logic level of 4 and the signature social move is to whine and complain. Love that for them. And then we've got Vaughn Braun, who is extremely neat and outgoing, but has no other points in any other categories apart from nice. He's just middle of the road. He's a level 4 logic and his signature social interaction is cuckoo. They will also both be abducted by aliens when looking at stars on a night. They seem the type. They do seem the type. So this is Shiny Things Labs. There's a little bit of lore here. Shiny Things Labs could be related to Shiny Things Incorporated, which is first mentioned in SimCity 3000. In The Sims 1, they have an oven, dishwasher, refrigerator, a trash compactor and a servo. And in The Sims 2, they have a dishwasher and grill. And in The Sims 3, there's a chair. And all of those items are made by Shiny Things Incorporated. They're pretty good. I love an overarching piece of lore. I'm really interested in item descriptions and canonically, like, who is the manufacturer in the Sims franchise. And Shiny Things Inc. is a manufacturer. I think so much lore to be found in objects. Speaking of objects, Malcolm, the man that he is, steals the Tesla coil and also the telescope from the Shiny Things lab. So these won't be getting abducted anytime soon. And that's pretty silly because if Shiny Things Lab is an offshoot of Shiny Things Incorporated, he's stealing from himself because Malcolm Landgrab canonically founded Shiny Things Incorporated. Silly man. But the Shiny Things Laboratory is described as a high-tech heaven, computer central, however you describe Shiny Things Lab. It's the quintessential laboratory for cleaning up the barrels of toxic waste for Vaughn Braun may mean a somewhat hazardous work environment, but no one said that science was easy. So yeah, it is literally a lab which has nothing suspicious or any secrets at all, and it is not hacking. Thank you. But they have some great achievements. They're responsible for science fairs and also inventing rocket gnomes and also inventing the Tesla coil. But rocket gnomes, that's fantastic. Some of the goals are similar to Casa Caliente because they're all on the same level, like upgrading the lab with 1,500 worth of equipment. That unlocks the inventor's workshop. And another is invite your lover over, which we covered in the last one. But this time it gets you a plant. Love that. But a lot of them are actually different. We have a party involved goal because of course we do. And we have to use the Craft King Inventor's Workshop to create 5 of these rocket gnomes. Level 8 mechanical skill needed for this. She is high. And then quite bizarre, you place them outside, start a party, light a gnome, and then people will tell you how thoroughly unimpressed they are. So you've got to keep lighting it and they're like, no, still not good. Not impressed. And then once you've lit all 5, they'll be like, I quite enjoyed that actually. And then the level's completed. So that's that. But now we can hypnotize people, which is great because Studio 8 are once again in our bad books. But to get to Studio 8, we need to unlock it. And to unlock it, the poor old fern at the Goth household is taking another beating because we have to steal the fern in order to find out where the contaminating spores are coming from. And bear in mind that the fern, before it was at the Goth house, was at Dudley Landgrab's house. I'm guessing it was Dudley that made it have those spores. Just a hunch. Sue me. But from that, you unlock Studio 8, so hopefully the fern can grow in peace. And we tootle our way over to Studio 8 to change their mind about scientists by hypnotizing them. Because the way to change someone's mind about you being a bad person is to hypnotize them into thinking that you're a good person. Because that is the good person thing to do, naturally. Why has nobody thought of this before? And they'll even reward you for your behaviour with the Pathmatic sliding door. Pathmatic sliding door. Sorry. Mad scientists get promoted to vivisectionist and then gene splicer. They get the Tesla coil 3.0, which they invented, and also a lamp. And then you have the Octagon to move on to visit. Paramilitary get promoted to covert ops and secret agent. They unlock a telescope, a radar dish, and also the Octagon again to move or visit. Now, class, onto Club Rubb. The club where we go to rub on each other. That is what we do there. That is its purpose. That is its clause. Bing, bling. Love him. He is a star. He is in the promo of a lot of stuff for Bustin Out. He is the moment. And he runs Club Rubb. Sorry, that did not come out smoothly. He runs Club Rubb and is also a DJ. He DJs there. Bing is the player. Schmoozy and boozy, he's a party animal that subsidises his lifestyle by running Club Rubb, where he can party 24/7. Part dance fiend, part DJ, Bing's pants are a walking party waiting to happen. Sorry, invitation only, y'all. Okay. Much to take in with that, much to take it. Noted. He's very outgoing, active and playful. He has a charisma skill of 4 and his signature social interaction is to breakdance. And people love the breakdance. And he works in the movie star career because of course he does. Now Moan a Lot, who actually doesn't mourn a lot, she co-owns Club Rubb with Bing Bling, but she's kind of pushed to the background a little bit. And she's got the same personality with him as him as well. So it should be more equal. But she is creative level 6 though. So good for her. The two are very similar. They have the same personality. They both swear a lot. Very similar. As for the lot itself, it's a club. It's a literal club. Call off your techno boy toy. If this techno rave warehouse is a centre of coolness, then Bing Bling is the keeper of that cool. Bust a move on the dance floor, play DJ for the crowd, or just sit back and watch the ultimate party happen. It says bust a move, but it does not say bust out a bath bomb because there is no full bathroom here. There is no kitchen here. And to be honest, you are here to dance and dance only. But to be honest, you can't even do that because Malcolm has stole the dance floor. And the beverage bar, the two things that this Club Rubb needs. And that ruins the entire Club Rubb thing. Again, renovations, invite your lover over, and you get the Bounce My Booty dance floor so you can love the way he rides. And then you also get a bathtub. Marriage, again, is another goal here, but we'll focus on that in the next part. On level 4. I think it's level 4. And then the party goal, we need to throw the ultimate DJ party. And there's only one way to do that, babe. Bounce on my booty cheeks. You need to record scratch on this DJ booth right here. And you need creativity level 7 for that. So you best get working. And when you complete this, you unlock a recliner. Lovely. Which also unlocks Studio 8 for visiting, which is important because we need to show these art aficionados our moves that we've learned at the club. The breakdance. Everybody loves good breakdance. So you go over to see Artie and Charity and you breakdance for them. You show off your moves and you receive a light for this. You unlock a light, which I believe is so Artie and Charity can view your moves better. There's some Olympics 2024 Paris breakdancing joke in there, but I can't come up with it right now. The next goal is that something is up at Toane's gym. And you need to find out what. Max and Goldie are up to something. What they're up to is just having fun, living life, and they want you to do 3 triple jumps from their diving pool. And once you do that, you unlock a shower. So what was up at Toane's gym? Your popularity, your achievements, your chance of competing in the next Olympic Games, your credibility. Max and Goldie were impressed by your moves. To be here at Club Rubb, you either need to be in the fashion victim, jock, or movie star career. Fashion victim promotion is to hairstylist and makeup artist. And that gives you the admire body and slow dance social interaction, which is, I love the slow dance, and also Tinsel Bluffs to move or visit. Jock, you get promoted to MVP and superstar, which lets you tell a dirty joke and wolf whistle. Okay. Won't be doing that, but thank you. Movie star promotions, game show host and sitcom star, which unlocks moonwalk and booty tease. Love that. And that is level 4. Back at Sim Valley now, the next places that we have to visit for level 5, which is the final level before the final level, by the way, we have Tinsel Bluffs, which is located here on the map, the Octagon, which is here, and Pixel Acres, which is right next to it, so that's great for us. First off, Pixel Acres. Let me introduce you to Ying Yangst. Obviously, a play on yin and yang. She's a nudist. You wouldn't think that from the picture because she's got clothes on, but she is. She's also incredibly outgoing, which I think you'd need to be, wouldn't you, really? And very playful and nice. And she's got a cooking skill of 8. And a signature social interaction is feather tickle. Takes all sorts of folks to make a world, you know. Then we've got Chase Skirts, which is a play on chasing skirts, as in he's a player. Anyway, Chase and his friend Ying run the controversial Pixel Acres, known for its liberal clothing optional policy, arts and crafts fairs, and frequent all-night parties. Chase basically just wants to have fun and be creative with his friends, but Malcolm and his buddies at the Octagon want to shut the place down. Help Chase preserve this last bastion of the counterculture by helping him catch his enemies in compromising positions at a nudist party. So that's the summary of that. Chase is very outgoing and playful with a cooking skill of 8. They both cook. They're, dare I say, serving. And Pixel Acres This is it. This is a spot where your Sims can enjoy the great outdoors, clad only in a smile. You haven't lived until you've challenged yin yanks to a game of nude table tennis. People love to be nude here. Don't know if you know. And Malcolm repossesses 3 items. The hot spring, the ping pong table, so we will not be able to challenge Ying to a game of it actually, and therefore we will never live. And the tetherball is also stolen. Bloody Malcolm, so silly. He's always doing things like this, I swear. Because everything is outside, I found this an incredibly difficult lot to play. If the telly is on, I also put a telly in there. That's probably on me, to be fair. Everybody is awake. If there is one bit of rubbish outside, you would think it's the end of the world. Your sim can sniff it out like a dog. It's best to build some walls, just to get a bit of privacy. And obviously, because we've been robbed, that's not there, that's not there, that's not there. We're a bit nude, pardon the pun. This goal is actually 2,000 worth of improvements for Pixelators, which unlocks the hot spring conversion kit. And also, you've got to go back to Casa CALIENTE and you've got to seduce someone there, which is easy because he's all for it. He's been waiting for the day. And then from that, the counterculture and gangster careers can unlock the Shiny Things labs to visit. And also the infamous fireplace, so we can put our own shag rug in front of the fireplace at home in Pixel Acres in front of the fireplace, and we could have so much firewood to keep that fireplace going, because it really is just acres and acres of nothing. And in those acres and acres of nothing, your sim looks around this like, you know, this is a perfect place for to raise a baby, to raise a child. Something about this tree. That's one of the goals, to get married and to raise a kid. But again, they were not very forthcoming with this. You can only marry someone who's not actually in the game. They're supposed to live on Free Street, which, again, not very forthcoming about that. I had an absolute chore trying to get married because it just didn't tell me that I couldn't actually be married to a sim. So I had to make a sim. I did make Mr. Darcy, I did. And then made my sim marry him and move him into Free Street. But when you do actually propose to him, you got to make sure they're in a good mood, because Mr. Darcy came over and I smooched him and then proposed to him, and he said, I literally, if I move here, I'm just never going to have fun again in my life with boring you. No, thank you. So you have to like make them watch TV and stuff like that before you make a move, and yeah. But once you are married, it's like an automatic elopement. You have an automatic roommate, and they can also keep up with friends for you, which is one of the most difficult parts about this game for me. And as well as getting a partner, and you're not just getting a partner, you're also getting a brand new vehicle, the Spritzen Funken Q3. And then the goal is to have a baby and raise it to a child. This can be done through the woohoo bed, but honestly, that 1 in 8 chance, it just took so long. I made my Sims vibrate and playing it. It did not work. Well, obviously it works, but I just didn't have the patience for it. The most traditional way of making a baby in the Sims franchise is to just kissy, kissy, kissy. You'll get a notification. Do you want to have a baby? Whopper. You have a child. Wait 3 days. Whopper. They grow up into a child. No rest for the wicked though, because we have a pressing issue. We need to find someone interested in Chase's secret formula, whatever that is. So we move into his house, we become his friend, we learn his tell secret interaction, and then we use his own openness against him by going to visit Shiny Labs and telling Makino or Vaughn Chase's secret formula. Trust nobody. And then from here, the counterculture and gangsters can visit Goth Manor to visit. And surprise, surprise, the Goths are having a ghost problem again, as they want to do. They've got to find a way to just accept it at this point. So we have to go over and use the tumble text synthesizer and have a high creativity skill, because apparently that drives the ghosts away. And we learn the Pixel Booty song, which makes people strip. I don't know about you, but when someone plays an organ, I need to be as naked as the day I was born. Just an urge that comes over me. Pixel Booty. So we know Malcolm is a bit of a bastard. He's been robbing people left, right and centre, and he broke our mum's heart as well, I'm assuming. Horrible to his own kids, and he's the main antagonist. So he's got a lot of marks against him. And at this point in the game, it's like, do you know what? I've had just about enough of this. It's time to get him back. So level 5 is all about taking Malcolm down. And in Pixelators, it is Operation Frame Malcolm and get him busted for indecent exposure. But unfortunately, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because to have this work, we need to have a positive relationship with Malcolm. Get him unawares and then invite him round, call party up, and then you can either make everybody disrobe by being like, hey, you'd look better naked. And they'd be like, I so agree. And then they disrobe. Or you can just cheat and unlock the organ and play Pixel Booty on it. I won't apologise for cheating. I'm not very good at the game. And then he'll step on the property and then Pixel Booty. You just don't know the power of it. Here he is, naked, feeling the wind in his simhuna. And he gets busted by the police because he's naked. That's disgusting. How dare he? at a nudist camp of all places. When you play that song, he leaps at the opportunity to get out of them claws. He's been waiting for it. And we also get 5,000 simoleons for apprehending him too. An honest day's work. And to be in Pixelators, you do need to be in the counterculture and gangster career, as you can see. Counterculture has a love guru and psychic activist promotions, which unlocks the tetherball and backyard taunt. And finally, Malcolm's mansion to be able to move to. Gangster has extortionist and hitman, which unlocks the broil bastard, my favourite object, stone grill, and a table tennis activity. And also Malcolm's mansion, because he is in jail. He's no longer, well, he's not actually in jail, but a girl can dream. Next up in level 5, we have the Octagon, General Pain, which is a play on the movie Major Pain. General Pain has been given the responsibility of creating new experimental technology for the armed forces of SimCity. His work at the Octagon is top secret and some say unethical. What could possibly go wrong? Visitors have been known to vanish without a trace, or is that just an urban myth? Perhaps if you get to work with General Pain, you'll learn how he got his name. Sounds like a case against the city. We'll be winning a major payment for that one, General Pain, my good man. Although, to be fair, you are probably the one that they will be the one paying out. He's exceptionally neat and outgoing. He's maxed out, and that's it. He's got no other room for any other personality points because he spent them all on that. He's logic level 8 and body level 5, among others. I just don't give an exhaustive list of the skills, just the top ones. And his signature social interaction is snap out of it, which fits, honestly. His career naturally is secret agent. Maxine, on the other hand, is a mad scientist, and I love Maxine purely because of this pose. I saw that pose in my book. I was like, oh, that's my woman. That is her. She's full levels for neat and outgoing and mid-range active. She's a mechanical level 8. That is really good. You've got Maxine and logic level 7. And a signature social interaction is a karate chop. It makes total sense. I see it. The Octagon is literally an octagon. It's a play on the Pentagon. A Cold War command bunker left over from the 50s. Concrete camo and cots just about describes the decor, though there are a few technological marvels to be discovered, and perhaps even a top secret item or two guarded by General Pain. What are you like, bloody General Pain? And then from here, Malcolm repossesses Miss Gyrotic, I love her, and the SimCentry CD-XLVIII motion detector. Again, you need to buy 2,000 worth of improvements. That unlocks the Atlantean column and also get married and raise a baby to a child, but we've already covered that one in Pixel Acres. So as for the family goals, you have to find and suppress anti-war protesters, which sounds like something that you would be doing at the Octagon. That does sound plausible. What doesn't sound plausible, though, is to do this, you have to go to Club Rubb and fight either Bing or Mona for some reason. Because, yes, for sure those two, and not these two hippies at Pixel Acres or Casa Caliente, for that matter, seem the most likely to be anti-war. But yeah, Bing Bling seems like he's the type to trust on that. But if you win the battle, you will win the war. And suppress the anti-war protesters to unlock a toy parrot. And these, honestly, these people at the Octagon are very paranoid. The next mission is to find and shut down the hackers, which are at, drumroll please, Shiny Things Labs. Maybe Malcolm is running it after all. So you go there, you go to Shiny Things Labs, steal the computer, and that apparently just shuts the hacking thing down, because I'm guessing this game was released before the cloud, because that's enough to just axe it right then and there, and you get a desk lamp for that, and the ability to visit Club Rubb. I don't know if you know about this, guys, but The Sims is not free from the horrors of bio-warfare, and thankfully we are on a mission to destroy it. We have to visit Goth Manor, destroy their bioweapon, which honestly is really sad because Bella loved that. Bella loved making evil plants. She finally had a hobby other than going missing, and we have to go and destroy it. I mean, to be fair, this is before The Sims 2, so no wonder she fucked off over a strange town, God bless her. We also unlock the Gyrosport Abdominator for that. But was it worth it to destroy a woman's hobby in life? This may be the most unhinged level we've had so far, and that's saying something because we survived Casa Caliente. Mission classified: eliminate Senator Landgrab. The man is a landlord, a thief, a business owner, and a senator. Well, he needs to be eliminated. The only way to eliminate him in the Octagon is to get one of his motives down to level 0. There are multiple ways to do this. If you are in the mad scientist career like Maxine Powers, you can get promoted to robotician and unlock Miss Gyrotic. There she is. And you can program her to run a defense program, which will result in her attacking Malcolm. It's amazing. It's genius. Or you can run your own defense program, fight him and win. Another one is you can catch him on fire, but that one is quite convoluted and also poses a significant risk to you and also your house, because people can die in this game and will die in this game. Chase Skirts died in my game. I didn't feel bad. But one of the greatest things about The Sims is you can really do anything that your heart desires, like trapping them in a box and watching them die. And that is a viable way to do this goal, but it does take some time. And also, he won't die, he'll just wee himself, unfortunately. But if we use our imagination, we can envisage great things. The last option is one of the most horrible things you can ever do to a human, never mind a sim. Utilise the baby goal and lock Malcolm in a room with a crying baby. This does risk your own child for the social worker, but it will be torture for Malcolm. So you win some, you lose some. You've got to decide what's right for you. Completing this will give you 5,000 simoleons. 4 careers. For the mad scientist, you get promoted to roboticist, but also space-time tinkerer. And you unlock Miss Gyrotic, the woman that she is. And the right light spotlight. And Malcolm's mansion to move our visit. For paramilitary, you get promoted to code breaker and intelligence director, unlocking the flip social and the SimSentry CDXLV motion detector. Again, with Malcolm's mansion to move or visit. Because we're nearly there. We took him down. We stole his house. I'd say steal his wife, but he's single. Finally, we move on to Tinsel Bluffs. Quite a big house, actually. Fanny adore. Get your laughs in now. You adore Fanny. Once a big star, now a neurotic recluse. Fanny still thinks she's going to make that big hit movie. That's good for you, because if you can get Malcolm to think the same way, maybe you can con him out of 1 million simoleons to produce the piece of garbage and then laugh your way to the bank. Will she be a close friend or just another stepping stone? In Hollywood, is there really any difference? She is actually iconic because there's a poster in this game called Love in Baghdad. It's a movie poster and she's in it. She played Lisa Lender and Humphrey next to her. He played Herbert Walker. Obviously, she's in the movie star career. And she has a featured role in the final video to be played in The Sims Bustin' Out. She's very good. And she's got a really unique personality because she's got 10 points in neat and no points in any other category. She's just exceptionally neat. But she's level 7 charisma, which honestly, I believe her. I believe in her ability to make a future hit, especially because her signature social interaction is smooth talk. She does have a really funny name though. Then Humphrey Hawks. Couldn't even find a picture of him by himself. And my sim always got along with him. I loved being friends with Humphrey in my game. He, along with Fanny, is supposed to be really hard to get along with because they're always in a bad mood, but that wasn't my experience. I really adored Humphrey. I got quite close to him in my game. He's a level 7 charisma, so I see why he's a movie star. And his signature social interaction is imitate, and he's an actor. He's good at that. As for the actual lot itself, Tinsel Bluffs, fake Spanish colonial meets Roman villa meets modern steel at Tinsel Bluffs. Humphrey is 50% of the scandalised Hollywood couple that lives here. Some stars are born, others are made, and very few of them are found here. That is a scathing description. But despite being scandalised, they have a massive house on the top of a mountain. It can't be too bad. They will use this literally though and tell people that they're on top of the world. Or they'll commiserate on how bad the last film was. Malcolm steals a microphone from here, not that it'll make much of a difference to their lives. It has the same 2,000 improvement goal, raise the baby to a child, etc. And then for the family goals, one of them is called Muscle at the Muscle Gym. And for some reason, right, Muscle at the Muscle Gym, I would think, okay, go to the gym, work out. And you kind of do, but in a weird way, because it's a Sims Bustin' Out. You go to the gym, you find out there's been a party, and you fight Max or Goldie. Probably for having the nerve to not invite you. Maybe just because you can. So you fight them, and you receive a pool. Speaking of pool, you suddenly overcome with the need to find out where you can score a red pool table. Been there. Me when I need a red pool table. We have to go back to Club Rubb, which is not on here anymore. Sorry. I was looking at where are you? And we need to beat Bing in a game of pool, and then that unlocks the red pool table. Pool Bing, consistently catching strays. And then we also unlock the ability to visit Shiny Things Labs, which is important for the next task. Finding a good sci-fi movie script. How do we find this? By maybe using our brain? No, wrong. Using somebody else's. We go to Shiny Things Labs, find a brain in a jar, and we steal a script from them. Like, ask, what do you think would be a really good film right now? And they tell us, and we're like, oh yeah, keep going. And we get a Cypress tree from that, available in build mode. And for the last goal, we have to really rub it in Humphrey and Fanny's faces that they're down and out in Hollywood. And with a fresh new thing, we need Malcolm to put us in his big movie. Naturally, because of course it does, as it does with everything, this requires a party. During the party, there are 3 ways to get us a good chance of getting in the movie. Number 1 is pure talent, but not yours. You have to be Malcolm's friend, and you also have to have a roommate with high creativity skill. is where these two come in. And you have Malcolm watch them play. You have to, and then say, wow, aren't they good? They'd almost be good enough to put in a film, but you know who'd be better to put in a film? Me. And if you know, it might work. You might say, yeah. Or, controversial one, you could romance him and get his mood up and then ask him. He will accept if your relationship's high enough. Number 3 is just pure fisticuffs. Beat the man up. Beat the man up for every bad thing he's done up to now. Give him an extra punch and saying, that's for me, ma'am. And if you win, he will relent and you'll be in his film. My favourite is number 3. And then for the careers, movie star, jock and fashion victim. Fashion victims get promoted to runway model and centerfold. Jock gets head coach and Hall of Famer. And movie star has sex symbol. I didn't actually think I'd see that word in The Sims. I don't know if it's ever been used before, but I did expect woohoo symbol, but no, sex symbol. And also director, which unlocks an aquarium. So that is level 5, and now the only place left to unlock, which takes multiple magnets because it's so big. Oh, Malcolm's Mansion, the final place now map. Well, apart from them two, but we will get to them later. And the final level in Bust Out. Malcolm. We spoke about his actions enough. Now let's speak about him. If he were meant to be a good guy, he'll probably be called Benedict. This malevolent landlord grabs all the land he can get and punishes his delinquent tenants by repossessing their stuff. A sad turn for the man who was once your benefactor and your mum's ex-husband. You pig. He's the CEO of Shiny Things Incorporated, as we've covered. Also a politician, as we've covered. A producer, as we've covered. And a landlord, as we've covered. And we've covered how he was in a relationship with our mum earlier. But she gets her revenge. She finally gets to... That's her revenge. That's me signifying her revenge. When you turn up at Malcolm's mansion, which is this place right here, massive, where's all the objects? He sold them to fund his lifestyle. Mum turns up in her dressing gown, slippers on, face mask on, rollers in, turns up, uses sign language against Malcolm, which is basically... And Malcolm just scuttles off with his tail between his legs. And the mansion is yours. Malcolm's Mansion is the ultimate destination for your sim, slightly less impressive than the ascent into heaven. The only problem is that you'll have to get through Malcolm to move in here. Paradise always has a price. So once you are in here, you can modify it to your liking. It's the most expensive lot, so it does have the most expensive bills. But the game isn't over yet, even though you've managed to get this high. The first objective, we do love an upgrade in this game, is upgrading the mansion by 20,000 simoleons. A lot of money. That's pretty expensive. That's quite a jump from 2,000 to 20,000, especially with the bills on top of that. Oh my God, I'm stressed just thinking about it. And also get your kid into prep school by having them have straight A's, which can be really difficult because grades in the earlier games didn't mess around. Miss a day of school, bam. From A to C in the blink of an eye. Me during puberty. But you do get the limo ultimo for these goals, and it even has a pool in the back. But still, it's not over. Not even until you get another promotion, but until you complete every single career in the game. Are you shitting my dick right now? But the game kind of was designed to let you do that, to go and play with different careers. And the reward for completing each career is a career norm. And once you've completed all of the careers and you've got all of the career norms, you put it on this Temple of the Simoleon, and then you will get the exit video played. But the game doesn't end there, even though we've completed it, because there are 2 modes to this, Bust Out and Free Play. And Free Play kind of operates how the original Sims for PC operates. There's no overarching goals, really. It's not like a linear storyline like Bustin' Out is. And you also can interact with the Bustin' Out people in Free Play. If you Bustin' Out, you can visit Free Street, and you have to make someone and move them into Free Street to be able to marry them. But if you are playing that sim on Free Street, you won't be able to go, say, visit the Goths. The careers are also different as well, which is interesting. We've got computer geek, artist, slacker, rock star, and swindler. And unlike Bustin' Out, where you can just switch between any career and there will be no repercussions, Free Play doesn't mess around. If you switch a career, your progress in that career will be reset. So you got one choice. You got one job. And whereas in Bustin' Out, your housemates' friends don't count as friends for promotions, in Free Play, your housemates' friends do. Which, thank God, because Number one, there is considerably less people in free play, obviously. And number two, I think that having friends required for promotion is one of the more annoying mechanics of early Sims games. Why do I have to be friends with next door's child to be a good rock star? I'm glad that they got rid of it in later games. Also, if you get fired in Bustin out, you lose a random skill point and 1 level in the career, but you can pick back up in that career, that 1 lower level if you want to carry on. But free play, you're fired and that's it. Time to move in though. There's 1 free street, 2 free street, and 3 free street, which is what these hidden houses are. Boom. Now we've got the full Sim Valley. And that's Sim Valley if I wasn't stood in the front of it. And that's Sim Valley with me coming back into the front of it a little bit. And there is Sims already in Free Street, so let's meet them. You might recognise these Sims if you've played Bustin' Out because they can actually turn up to your house if you're having a party and join it because they're your neighbours. They're the Tooties and the Fruities. I'm really sorry. I know it's going to annoy some people that I've done it Fruity and Tootie and not Tootie and Fruity. It's Tutti Fruity, that song. Just use your imagination. Pretend I've done them the other way. For number 1 Free Street, we have Candy Fruity. She is the iconic dream woman in the original Club Rubb scene where you dream that you're kissing someone. It's Candy that you're kissing because I want candy. Anyway, she's really outgoing and quite active and she's an Aries. I love that for her. Debbie Fruity is really neat and playful and a Capricorn. She's changed a lot since The Sims 1, but a lot of these women had a redesign. Ginger Fruity, not even ginger. Liar, you are a liar. Actress. She was ginger in the original Sims as well. She looks good though. She's very neat and playful and she's a Capricorn. And Pamela Fruity, the final Fruity girl, although in the OG Sims they had an extra roommate called May, so I don't know what drama went on there. She's chopped all her hair off and gone grey in Sims Bustin' Out. She's a Pisces. Where's my picture? Bloody hell. Anyway, that was the Fruity house. Sorry for the lack of picture for that one. That's going to really rile me. Yous probably aren't even bothered. I'm riled. Number 2 Free Street, named Fruity Tootie because the girls are all gay and the boys all toot probably. I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead. Peter Tootie is the male version of the eye candy. So he is the male answer to literal candy. I can see why the girls go a bit feral for him. I'm not about the goatee, but if we remove that, we can talk. He's very active and playful, and he's also a Sagittarius, one of my favourite signs. And then we've got Rod. Rod goes from a rootin' tootin' cowboy in the original version of The Sims in a punk in The Sims Bustin' Out. What have you been through? He's even bleached his eyebrows and dyed him ginger. This is me if you even care. Rod's very active and neat, but he can be a bit serious and he also takes a while to warm up to you. But once you've cracked it, he's worth it. Naturally, he's a Scorpio. He's my favourite, I think. And then we've got Woody, who's a bit of a hippie in this game, and he's got a very unforgettable haircut. It's given ball. Well, he's all right. He's nice and he's playful. And Aquarius. And then finally, we have Ziggy Tootie, who I feel is the only one out of these who can actually pull off somewhat of a goatee. He's really nice and active, but he's a little shy, and he's a Pisces. And their house is actually quite funny because it has a guitar in it. And if someone plays the guitar and they're not very good at it, they will literally just heckle and boot and laugh at you, and it deteriorates your relationship with them. It's great. And then there is 3 Free Street, but there is nothing on that plot because that's for you to make a sim to go on. And the Game Boy Advance plot is different. So that's what we're going to be covering next. Welcome to the Game Boy Advance version of this. Don't worry, there will be more than this. I've got a whole other side on the other side. This whiteboard, 2-sided. I'm just going to go through some of the differences between the console version and the handheld version because it is a completely different game. It's still set in Sim Valley, but you get a notification when you arrive saying, "Welcome to Sim Valley. I am so excited to have you here for the summer. We may not be as big as Sim City, but we've got twice the character. Come see me as soon as you arrive. Uncle Hayseed." So straight off the bat, we are no longer with Mom. She does not exist in this game. You know who else doesn't exist in this game? Malcolm. But there is a burglar. But Malcolm is not the Antichrist in this one. It's similar to the console version where it's pretty much a linear storyline that you have to follow. You have to get promotions, you have to do tasks. One thing that I think is interesting is Game Boy Advance and GameCube have special features together. PS2 has online weekends, that's exclusive to the PS2. And Xbox seems to have the best graphics, so every part of The Sims Bustin' Out kind of has its own beneficial thing, I guess. And this also works a lot differently to any version of The Sims that had been released before that. The Sims is a point and click kind of thing. You point to where they want to go, click it, and then they will go. But with this one, you actually controlled your sim directly. So as you pressed forward, you moved the sim forward. There's also no death in this one, only passing out. And no build mode either, but weather exists. And with the game, the point is to complete 5 missions. So it's similar to the console version for that. Let's start in Create Sim. So you can pick gender, skin tone, hairstyle, hair color, shirts, pants, and shoes. At the time that this was released, Sims 2 wasn't even out yet. And when the Sims 2 came out, you still couldn't pick your shoes. The pants and the shoes were together. That's pretty good for a portable game. And then we've got the personality, which follows the Sims 1 style of the personality points with how many points you can pick. And like the main Bustin out game, this impacts how your sim will get on with other NPCs. If you interact with someone whose personality you get on with, you're going to get more points from a positive social reaction. And if you don't get on, more negative points for a failed social interaction. And your zodiac sign also impacts objects because you can get certain objects for certain zodiac signs, but you can still get these zodiac objects through trading with a GBA link. Now let's get on to the world. She is once again called Sim Valley. I decided not to cover certain areas for this one because this one would have actually made more sense for certain areas to be covered, but do you know what? It's all out in the open, babe. It's all out in the open. There's different ways to get around this world as well. Like in The Sims Bustin out, we do have a scooter. But another way, which we will delve into later in Mission 3, there is also underground tunnels. You can also go for a jog. You can run places. Oh my God, the hospital. No, it's collapsed. So one of the things that I think is really interesting about this, I think everything about this is interesting, to be fair. I genuinely enjoyed the Game Boy Advance version so much more than I thought I was going to. And I already thought that I was going to. We have a jail. But the reason that it has a jail is because you can't die in this one. Death is not a thing. They've conquered it. Mortimer Goth is literally turning in his grave right now. I can't believe we've literally got a jail in The Sims Bustin out for Game Boy Advance, but we don't even have burglars in The Sims 4. The first way to get yourself sent to jail is by pissing yourself. Go piss, girl. It's not hard. Pissing on the floor gives 50% chance of incarceration, so you better be careful. And you have to pay 100 simoleons or you have to wait 6 in-game hours. And if you get hurt, there's also a hospital, babe. But this is a privatised economy, unfortunately. That will be 20 simoleons for your stay, thank you. You go here if you've got motive failure, if you're in a fire, electrocuted, injury, or the Velocirooster. You heard that name correct. More on that later. Now for making money. There are different ways to make money in this game. The objective of this is to beat all of the levels and also the mini games. The mini games act like a job and that's how you make your income. But you can also have an Etsy shop on the side. You can collect things around Sim Valley like aluminium cans, old glass jars, mechanical cogs, nuclear fuel rods, naturally, and you know, that's not even the weird one, 3-eared mice. And then you sell them to the person at Virtuchem. And you can also do basically favors by delivering things to different NPCs. And they can also tip you, but that's depending on what type of sim they are. A happy sim gives a respectable 95. A rich sim, a very good 150 simoleons. Mean, 13. Maybe just because it rhymes. And as well as getting money, you also get a social reward. So yeah, there's different ways to make money, but the mini games, I'm not going to go too much in detail of the different jobs because they are tied to NPCs in certain levels, so we will be going in detail later. So now we are on to level 1. Level 1 all takes place at Uncle Hayseed's farm. Right there, top left, on this part of the map. That is where we begin. Here is Uncle Hayseed. Everybody in this game is ginger. Don't know why, they just are. This is his farm. Uncle Hayseed is described as your dad's, or is it your mum's? Well, he's someone's older brother, and he's divorced. Mom. Sorry, he's got a normal personality type. He loves to joke, does not do well with compliments, and his auction wealth is struggling, unfortunately for him. He's usually bopping around the farm or the country cafe though. And your task for level 1 is to reach level 30 friendship with him, which is easy done. He's a lovely man. Be kind and give compliments. So you give him a family photo album and he's like, oh my God, literally, where did you get this? Paparazzi's everywhere. And then mission 2 is basically like a tutorial. Find something to eat, take a nap, take a shower, just kind of getting you to grips with how to control your sim. Uncle Hayseed gives you the barn. And Uncle Hayseed, he said, you're not getting any of my good furniture, but you can have my bad stuff. So we get a broken TV, a wood chicken statue, a broken fridge, and a bed. So generous. Seriously, so kind. Mission 4 is Farmhand Blues, and that is basically fix up the tractor, fix the television, fix the things that were broke, and that gets your mechanical skill up, which unlocks your first shift. Time to clock in. Gentlemen, Start your engines and may the best mower win. This is mower madness. This is your first job and you've got to run over the weeds before the time runs out, which sounds like a really simple job. If a rock hits you, you spin out. It's not easy, is it? Also, if you mow down a flower, that subtracts points. Hens appear after level 5. If you kill them, that will decrease your relationship with Uncle Hayseed. And honestly, I think that I would agree with that too. And then your promotions come from how skilled you are in the mechanical and also your performance in the game. So how good you are at mowing. So that's level 1. Level 2, we're still here in the same position. It also takes place in the barn. You've got to go around and find chickens for your uncle. They are all around the barn as well, but some are also in the burning spoke. There's some in the alley behind this, and there's also some in the bathroom. So that kind of is your introduction to that. We have to go meet Detective Dan DeMann and tell him all about these chickens. This is Detective Dan. Oh my God, I haven't magnetized him. Dan. Oh my God, I've got 2 magnets on my microphone. This is all getting a bit much. Anyway, Detective Dan DeMann, like Uncle Hayseed, normal personality type, loves a joke, does not like to be intimidated. He's got average auction wealth. And he's usually around the general store, the burning spoke, and then the jail, probably in that order. He's a no-nonsense cop with a nose for facts and figures. He's kind, but a little humorless. He's got brown eyes, red hair. Everybody's got red hair in this game. And he opens up and tells us that the hens have all escaped. It was the work of the Velocirooster, and he's been trying to capture it all of his life with no success. The Velocirooster also goes by failed experiment number 24601, unknown if self-titled, which is supposed to be a reference to Les Miserables, a police officer who spends many years chasing after a former prisoner whose number was 24601. This, the Sims team love an overarching storyline. This was also the passcode into a secret sub-level in The Sims 2 for PSP. Anyway, Detective Dan DeMann actually does have a very sad and harrowing backstory with the Velocirooster. Like, genuinely, it killed his sister. The Velocirooster killed his sister. You'd think she just came down in a bubble dog? A Velocirooster killed his sister. He's like, yeah, very sad, very sad. Also, there is tradings in Sim Valley. There are auctions, and he suspects that there's a crime ring within the auction. So The Sims canonically has a black market. So you kind of find out what Detective Dan DeMann is all about. But then you're out on the town again. You sell your old couch to the bartender. You also buy a shower at the general store. They did say general, and generally, you do need one. And then you need to place a shower in the barn. So that's that. But then you need to become pals with Nora. Nora Zealot. Nora Zealot is a fun one. First off, Nora Zealot is the niece of Detective Dan DeMann. That means the Velocirooster killed her mum. Difficult one. But still, her personality type is happy. She likes compliments, does not like to be teased, average auction wealth, and is usually around the general store, farm, or the burning spoke. Every day seems like election day with bubbly, bright-eyed Nora around, but this is just a depressing illusion. Miss Sim Valley 3 years running and a candidate for the Assistant Associate Treasurer position in this year's election. I hope I can count on your vote. And Detective Dan DeMann describes her as sweet girl, bit odd, ginger hair once again. I'm not surprised that she's a little bit odd. Her mum got killed by a chicken. A fun fact about her, sorry, the fact that her mum got killed by a chicken is very serious, very sad. But this is a cooler fact, objectively. She looked, to me anyway, so subjectively actually, she looks a lot like Fran Fufara. That is who is on the cover of The Sims Bustin' Out, because I have always wondered who that was, but apparently not. Fran Fufara is a girl that likes to go all the way to your house for a fun party, that is. Active, outgoing, frisky, and fun. So there are theories that Fran developed into Nora. Maybe it would genuinely, maybe it was the trauma of losing her mum to a chicken. And then we have to go to the general store, still in this kind of area. We have to go to the general store, attend an auction, and tell Detective Dan DeMann what we found out, which is, surprise, surprise, nothing. But we do find something else fun, because Uncle Hayseed tells us that some bikers have blocked the road, so we have to find one of the bikers. Dusty Hog. Do I not have a picture of Dusty Hog? No. That's him. Dusty has a mean streak, much longer than his patience. But if you can prove you're tough, he just might like you. And I'm Dusty Hog, the meanest man on 2 wheels from here to Sim City. He's kind of actually, well, I mean, it's not sad. It's not sadder than your mum getting killed by a chicken. But his bike broke down and he crashed. Now he's crusty dusty. We have to calm him down. And because he likes it when you're tough with him, I once fought the Velocirooster. She once fought the Velocirooster. Her mum once fought the Velocirooster and lost. You have to go find his helmet, which is around the general store. Give it back to him. It's a bright red helmet, much like his face, because he's probably embarrassed. And then you fix his bike with your newly found mechanical skill. You kind of become friends. He gives us another mission to tend to the bar, which leads us to our next job, smoothie slider, which obviously is not smoothies, but I don't know if they could get away with just saying bigger, but you've got to slide it across. Although that is beer, kind of. Actually, smoothie slider, just the alliteration, it just goes, so I kind of get why they didn't do that. But there's root beer, lemonade, and milkshake. It's a 2-hour shift. It's not that bad, actually. You punt it across the bar, essentially. And if you get the wrong order, then you don't perform very well. And if you get it right, then brilliant. You also paint Dusty Hog's bike. You have to collect 5 aluminium cans from around town and then go to Virtuchem and sell them to the lab technician there. And after all of this, for all of these favours, the blistering winds, scorching deserts, and velociroosters, Dusty actually does repay you. And quite well, honestly, because that is how we get the super scooter. And that's how we can get around town, all around the town and everything. And Malcolm doesn't even come and steal it this time. It's all yours. And then mission 6 is all about moving out. Apparently Uncle Hasey's had enough of us already. We've barely even been there. The bed's not even warm yet. This is the Velocirooster's fault. Uncle Hasey, he helps us. He briefs us on moving out. But apparently we're not briefed enough because we still need to refer to another guy for help. So we get help from... Shouldn't actually take this long, but there it is. Giuseppe Mezzoalto. When I said at the beginning, please check out the links that I've put in the description because I found different blogs and people's experiences. Yeah, I also found fan art of Giuseppe. Link for that is in the description if you want to go check it out. They have others as well. He's also the main antagonist. He's the man with a van, the robber that the Sims 4 deserves. Giuseppe Mezzoalto. If he didn't sell such cool things, Giuseppe Mezzoalto would be someone to steer clear of. But what deals? Hey, I'm Giuseppe Mezzoalto, businessman and family guy. You need something, anything at all, I can get it, even if it belongs to someone else. He's got black hair this time, which is, the ginger has been broke. He also runs a shop out of his van and also has a moving business. So honestly, he's just deliberately trying to make a living. Who cares if it's not an honest one? If you have to get him to help you, because he's a man with a van. He does want to help us move, but he's also like, listen, I'm going to have to send you on a bit of a goose chase first. So we need to make one friend. He really said, I don't help losers move. Loser. I'm called man with a van, not man with no fans. And then we also have to give 500 rent to Uncle Hayseed. Don't know what for because we never stayed there. And then after all this, we tell him that we've fixed our lives and we want to move out. Over to the clock tower. Moving on up. For this one, for the first mission, we need to score a fishing job. And funnily enough, while we are near the fish and chip shop, we come across a man called Old Salty, because of course we do. And we ask him about jobs. He doesn't hire us, because of course he doesn't. That would be too easy. So Old Salty here, he gives us the heads up. He says, find someone called Phil McLean, and we need to impress him. And this is Phil McLean. To impress him, he likes compliments, which is a bit challenging because he's a bit grumpy, but he loves talking about his interests. His auction wealth is average, and you can find him near the docks, the fish and chips, the country cafe, and the dockside diner. He's got red hair. Again, McLean might stand taller if it weren't for that chip on his shoulder. Be careful around this grumpy character. My given name is Phil McLean, but most everyone around here calls me that crazy old squid for brains fisherman. That's why I don't like most everyone. He's a bit of a tough cookie. Yeah. And we've also got a mechanical too as well. In town, we need to go to the general store. We need to buy a fishing pole from the general store. And then also, over here, we have bric-a-brac. And bric-a-brac is where Nicky Knack sells different types of bricky-bracs. And we buy a fishing book from her. After all that, we talk to Phil McLean, and he's suitably impressed. And we unlock the next career, bait flinger. And this involves getting fish. You got to use bait. But you've got to kind of guess how deep it is, and you've got to try and get the biggest fish and stuff like that. So yes, but we have another job. Hey ho, we are working, hired. The next one, believe it or not, is called the Raging Chicken Competition. We've got to track down this guy called Vernon Peave and listen to him complain about the gym. And then we have to be like, I'm sorry that you're going through that. Sucks and everything. Also, I'm better than you. And you've got to basically gain body skill points to outdo him. And rather than the fisherman, Vernon seems to be the one with the actual chip on his shoulder. I don't know why those are there. They're not relevant. Vernon has been working for the same company at the same desk for the same pay for 30 years. Yes, he's angry. And everyone slags off the fisherman The fisherman has been known to slap people with fish if they get too close. And honestly, I think that's reasonable considering what they say about the guy. But nobody seems to have a problem with Vernon Peeve. I get his frustration. He's also rich. His favourite interaction is secrets and least is brag. I believe that when I see it. But his auction wealth is average. Not that rich, are you, Vernon? In order to complete this goal, you have to impress Eddie Renlin. Yes, adrenaline. Get your friendship with him up to 40 and pay 200 simoleons for membership to the gym. That's pretty expensive. And that grants you access to the upper floor and get your body skill up to level 2, then talk to Eddie Renlin again. And then we unlock the powerlifter minigame. You have to bench as much as you possibly can. Basically spam A, press D, press A, it's a matter of time. Too soon and you drop the weights. And that's mission 2 done. For the next mission, we've got to head over to the library to help our girl, Hester Prim. Hester Prim is Sim Valley's only librarian and self-appointed manners and etiquette guru. Be nice. Hester Prim, I run the Sim Valley Library, so stop by for a visit anytime, but be sure to wash your hands if you plan to touch any books. Understandable. Understandably so. She's grumpy. She likes compliments. She doesn't like to be teased, and her auction wealth is average. You can usually find her around the library and the clock tower and the diner. Her problem is that the library has got bookworms, but not in the good sense. It's actually got infested with worms and the library's had to shut down. First of all, you have to get unreturned library books from either Missy Waters, Mad Willie Hertzia, Nicky Knack, Daddy Big Bucks or Claire Cutterball. It has to be 3 of them. I will introduce more of those characters later and then return the books to Hester so she's got them back. You got to go to the Coogan section of the library and read a book to gain 1 Coogan point. If it wasn't implied, you also have to kill the bookworms. You have to stand on them. And then you return the books to Hester and she opens the library. So it's back. And then we're on a roll because mission 4 is the rise of the club. We meet up with Bucky the Bull Rider. This is her. And we learn about the sad history of Club Rubb. So we're like, we can't have that babe. But Club Rubb is literally an icon. It's a legend. Bucky herself is a friendly and dedicated athlete, determined to take mechanical bull riding to its absolute limit. If she rejects you as a roommate as well, she says, I'm sorry, but I'm just up riding my bull all night long. I will keep you up. Yeah, I sure hope you would. And the reason it closed down was because of unpaid taxes. So we have to track down the guy who originally owned it. Maximilian Moore. He's happy. Probably because he hasn't paid any taxes. His favourite interaction is jokes. I'm going to pay my taxes. His least favourite interaction is insults, like taxes. Insulted. That's it. He's wealthy as well. And he's usually around the country cafe, virtue camp and fitness centre. And he's often seen lingering around the hospital, which at first I was like, why is he lingering around the hospital? Because he's a brain surgeon. I was like, okay, case closed. I've figured that one. Dr. Moore is the proud, courageous and rather annoying head surgeon at Sim Valley General Hospital. So we have to befriend the Detective Danderman, who closed the club. And for some reason, to reopen the club, instead of Maximilian paying his taxes that he owes, we have to find the money for that. We have to pay this man's taxes. That is ludicrous. And then on top of that, we also have to do the marketing. We have to go to Nicky Knack's bric-a-brac shop and buy flyers to promote Club Rubb. This is not Dance Mom Season 1, Episode 5. I am not handing out promotional material for your club that you didn't pay for, although I am, because that is the plot. We hand them out to at least 10 people. Now we can rub on each other in Club Rubb. The next mission is called Deep Dark Secrets, and it's because what happens in this one really probably should have been kept a secret. Giuseppe tells us about a better way to get around town. To find this out, we need to acquire a crowbar. I've watched Home Alone enough to know where this is going. And we also need Uncle Hayseed for that. And he doesn't question it at all. He's like, yeah. The next part is crucially important. We need the city blueprints, which are actually hidden in our house. In a trapdoor, which is foreshadowing, but these are looking very shady indeed. We tootle off over to the country cafe, go to the manhole that's here, and lower the ladders, and this takes you into a secret underground network, which gets you around town faster. This is all legal and above board and everything like that, don't you worry. It's basically the same thing, but underneath. Just put the nice little blueprints back in our nice little trapdoor. Then Giuseppe actually takes the blueprints and doesn't take them in the burglar sense where he steals them from us, because that would be in his character. That would be in his character and he would be one to do that. But no, we just actually give the burglar the blueprints of how to get around town secretly in a way that people can't see you. A clear-cut path to rob houses and run from the police. And we give him it, and it's magical, and it's all this drama Mick, and I just love it. This is how the Velocirooster gets around. So that's that. We've basically gave him a secret way to go around the town. And then for mission 6, we're like, I'm ready to move out the clock tower. So we've got to track down Nicky Knack. because she's got a beautiful waterfront beach house. And we're like, you know what? I think I'd like that. Sound of the sea, beach. But Nikki Knack herself, she's been running Sim Valley's trinket store for over 30 years, so keep the marble jokes to yourself. Don't know what that means. Oh, like she's lost her marbles. A tagline is, if you ever need anything you don't really need, come see me. Nikki, you're a woman after my own heart. But her waterfront villa comes at a cost. You have to make 4 friends, and that should be really easy, considering we're on very good terms with the town robber right now. We're on good terms with Uncle Hayseed. He gave us a crowbar. We're on good terms with Detective Dan DeMann. He doesn't know I've double-crossed him and gave the burglar, the only criminal in this town, access to the underground maps. We're also pretty good with Nora and Hester, to be honest. We're on good terms with almost everybody. I commiserated over a dead man. Got killed by an evil chicken. So that's 4. And then you've also got to earn 3,000 in rent, and obviously you do this by completing the jobs. And you got to gain 2 promotions in said jobs before you can move in. But with all of that done, we move to the waterfront aboard, and that wraps up level 3. So, plot twist. This town is haunted. Wait, I suppose most towns are, but this one in particular, we get the lowdown. Claire Clutterball tells you a story about a ghost, and she wants your help to help the spirit. And she could be being slightly dramatic. I will take any story that she tells with a pinch of salt, because she is self-titled as Sim Valley's official poet. Self-titled. She's got brown hair and glasses, once again breaking the red hair streak. And to me, she is basically Thomas from Ghosts, but not a ghost, and also in female form. I can imagine the conversation between the ghost and Claire would have been, boo, ah, what a fright, in my pants, a sudden shite. I'm not even making that up partially, because she did read poetry to the ghost canonically. Her personality type was normal. I'm willing to debate that one though. She likes jokes. She doesn't like to be intimidated. She's struggling in her auction wealth. And she's usually loitering around the Clock Tower Farm and Country Cafe. So the ghost is located, I don't know if you believe it, in the haunted shack. I would have thought that. And the only way to get to the haunted shack is to use the steam tunnels. Which is a good thing really, because as soon as you get to the steam tunnels, there is suddenly an urn in there, which obviously is the ghost's urn. It doesn't suggest anything nefarious at all. And then you get yourself to the haunted shack, and you got to pick into it with a lockpick, because it's not your house. Maybe the real robber was who we became along the way. You never know. You use that mechanical skill to get in the house, and we come across the ghost. But we can't communicate with the ghost because we don't speak crazy talk. That is the words of the game, not what I'm calling it. That's what the game calls it. This was released early 2000s. The ghost is Ephraim, and he's not necessarily a friendly neighborhood ghost, because he has been driven to near madness by almost 2 centuries of lonely wanderings. He's just looking for some rest, but thankfully we can actually help with that. The ghost asks you some riddles. If I was a ghost and I had the rest of all time just to haunt an empty, abandoned house, and then a random person came up to see me, I would probably try and make them linger for a longer time with riddles, yeah. And these are the riddles. How many sides does a circle have? 2. I don't get it. Which does not belong in the group? Apple, grape, banana, or pear? Apparently a banana. I think because it doesn't have an E in it. How many letters are in the alphabet? 11. I think it's because the alphabet has 11 letters. When I am filled, I can point the way. When I am empty, nothing moves me. I have 2 skins. One without, one within. What am I? Apparently, it's a glove. But these are quite difficult. And if you get these wrong, you will pass out in the hospital. Maximilian will sort you out though. But if you get them all right and you give him the urn so he goes to rest, another trapdoor opens. This game loves a trapdoor. And you can loot this dead man's furniture, which I don't feel bad about, because 1, he is dead. 2, he does not exist. 3, because Ephraim's auction wealth, despite being dead, is filthy rich. What the fucking skibbity? His items are literally a sarcophagus, a Venus flytrap, a crystal ball, a suit of armour, and a Zen fountain. So 50% of those items could only be used by a ghost for nefarious purposes. So I feel like we've actually done a deed for society by getting rid of them. Mission 2, art for art's sake, is, you guessed it, all about art and honing your art skill. So we meet Dashiell Swank. He's a professor of art history at the University of Sim Valley, because of course this town has a university. It's got everything. He describes himself as an art aficionado, an esteemed university professor, though not necessarily in that order, and he's bubbly. He loves gossip. And he doesn't like to be called names. And you talk to him about the local art scene, and he is fuming because the mayor, who does fuck all, by the way, doesn't want to add art to Sim Valley. Rude. And then he gives you a mission to go to Lover's Leap, which I was like, Lover's Leap, that's such a cute name. And then I kind of thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, Lover's Leap? Does that mean that you jump off that cliff? It's got an easel right there. So you go there and you paint a seascape. And once you're on level 5, you can frame it, get the object d'art, and sell it to Dash L for a maximum price of 5 grand. He's also apparently a really good person to roommate with because you can just make a lot of money fast. And that concludes this mission. Short and sweet. This next one is a right bunch of complainers. Well, one complainer. We talked to Melodious. This is him. And he gives you a tale of woe because he can't get into Vera Vex's band. Oh, and again, because you're such a kind and considerate person, you were like, womp womp, what shall we do? Try and get into Vera's band. Mel, I'm going to do what you couldn't. Sorry. He looks like Dudley Landgrab. He's one part hippie, one part road rage. An angry man trying to kick or punch his inner demons. My name's Melodious. I'm usually pretty chilled out, but don't mind me if I get a little angry. I'm still working through some issues. Obviously. His personality type is grumpy. He likes jokes though, does not do well with compliments, and he's got average wealth. The entire plot of this is you need to find a place to jam. Thankfully, Uncle Hayseed kicked us out the first day that we arrived, so he has got room in his barn. If you get your relationship with him high enough, he will let you use his barn for band practice. And then you need to get noticed, so you need to get a popularity of at least 25. Sounds like it's a new game mechanic. It's not. It just means have at least 25 relationship level with everybody. You gotta be popular. And then develop a look, which also sounds like you're gonna do a Princess Diaries montage, but it just means get your creative skill to level 3 and your charisma to 2, and that's apparently your makeover. You've developed a look. And then you also have to acquire one cool guitar. You buy a guitar from our man with a van, Giuseppe. This guitar, it fell off the back of a truck. It's got nothing to do with you. Totally legal, not at all stolen guitar. 450 simoleons. You've got to impress Vera Vex. You've got to get to a relationship score of at least 50. She's bubbly. She likes compliments and she doesn't like people calling each other names. I like Vera Vex. She's the lead singer of the local band, The Germinators, but it's disbanded until she can find more musicians. So once you've done all this and you've got the guitar, you have to go tell her that everything is ready. And this unlocks the jam session job in Club Rubb. There it is. It's a 3-hour job. You're there for 3 hours. That's what that means. And it requires timing and good rhythm. It's basically like Guitar Hero, pretty much. For Mission 4 Pizza Pandemonium, you meet Lottie Cash. There she is. There she blows. She's the daughter of the late oil tycoon Doyle Cash, and she's obsessed with a show called Pizza Pandemonium. And instead of her going on it, she needs us to be on it instead. Has she heard of The Sims Sparked? And to get on it, you have to befriend the kook, Chet R. Chase. And I was saying to my sister, Chet R. Chase. I feel like that's a pun for something, but I can't quite get it. I got it. I was like, in an American accent, Cheddar Chase, Cheddar Chase, Cheddar Cheese. Ratatouille. You got to charm him to level 50. To do this, give him compliments. Do not call him names. He doesn't like that. He's an eccentric chef from SimCity, and he's currently in Sim Valley touring with his televised cooking contest, Pizza Pandemonium. To get there, you got to get a cooking skill of level 5, so you better head to that library. Ask Hester where the best books are. Pay the show entry, which is 2,500 simoleons, and you pay that to Lottie. I know she's called Lottie Cash, but why is she getting my entrance fee? And then I've got to tell her I'm on the show. She took my entrance fee. And then Pizza Pandemonium becomes unlocked on the Dockside Diner. There it is. It reminds me of games that we used to play, online games I used to play where you had to move the sandwich over and match it up. You've got to make the pizza on here and there's things flying down like mushrooms and you've got to make sure that you don't make any mistake. This one means a lot to me because I actually used to work in a pizza shop for quite a while. So when I was a teenager, it was Pizza Pandemonium. I made a lot of kebabs. Mission 5 is called Champion of the Simsverse. And to do this, you have to track down Daddy Big Bucks, which first of all can be hard because he's usually on Paradise Island, which we will talk more about later. And he thinks that he's responsible for every amusing thing that happens in town, like building houses, funding roads, and commissioning music. He thinks a lot of himself. I mean, he is Daddy Big Bucks after all. And one of the amusing things he's planning is a triathlon, but the mayor of Sim Valley, no picture to their name, they do nothing, said no. So he may have the bucks, but he don't have the power, my love. But he will not give up. And by him not giving up, he also means that he's going to delegate his tasks. So we won't give up by extension. We need to complete the 3 triathlon events. Number 1 is catch the Velocirooster. I'm sorry, Nora, this might be a little bit triggering for you. This requires a body skill of 6. And once he's caught, he's so sweet, you can even put him in your pocket. Detective Dan demands entire life's work just over in one foul swoop. Foul swoop. Fowl. Thank you. I've been so excited to say the joke. When I came up with it, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. You're probably listening to it and was like, that's one of the worst you've ever made. I enjoyed it. Obviously, this is this man's entire life's work. Like, his sister got killed by the chicken that is now in our pocket. So you can be nice and you can give him the Velociraptor as a present. I mean, I would be a bit offended if a chicken killed my sister and then I got gifted that as a present. But you can gift him it. You've also got to beat the bull riding record. And I feel scared about saying this because Bucky Brock, her thing is she's the bull rider. I'm ruining somebody else's entire life's work, all for Daddy Big Bucks. Dollar make me holler. What can I say? But you have to complete her score on the bull riding thing to complete this task. And you need an energy and level 6. Next, there's always going to be one character that looks like my dad. We have to knock out Mad Willie Hurts Ya. Despite the name and the brawn, Willie is actually a bit of a soft shite. And with a level 6 fitness skill, you can knock him out quite easily. So Willie Hurts Ya. I guess he won't after all. And then you report to Daddy Big Bucks to claim £1,000. And then we need to move out. We need to make 8 friends. And the board is getting pretty full pretty fast. So I think that 8 friends is actually feasible. What's not feasible is that we need a 10,000 down payment to Daddy Big Bucks to move out. After what we just done for him. And we have to earn 3 job promotions. That one's feasible. So the final level of this game, level 5, the Manor. We have moved out. We have moved into this massive home, Imperial Estates. This level, and honestly level 5 in general, to be honest, is a little bit of, it's a bit hard because as much as it seems like you should just do it mission 1, 2, 3 and 4, if you do that, it will make the game a million times harder because for some missions you need to be popular and for other missions you need to ruin your relationships with people, sometimes even in the same mission. So it's recommended that you don't do all of this 1, 2, 3, 4. Mission 1, a monumental accomplishment. We've got to go and find Detective Dan. I'm not gonna lie guys, I'm about to ruin his life again. We've got to go find Detective Dan because the mayor is planning to build a statue out of aluminium cans. So we need to lend a hand. We have to collect 30 aluminium cans ourselves because the mayor does nothing. I've seen hide nor hair of the mayor. Rhyming. And then we must have a popularity level of at least 50. And with both of those things, we can find our man Dashel Swank and ask him to put us in contact with a sculptor. What would happen if we just rang the sculptor up? So we do that. And then Detective Dan has the nerve to be upset because the sculptor decided to make a statue of us. But to be fair, was Detective Dan DeMann the one who put blood, sweat and tears into the statue? No. Did he go and find the aluminium cans? No. So not to be big-headed, but yeah, I sure hope this sculptor would have done a statue about us. I'm not complaining about that. And then for mission 2, Looney Lemmings. First of all, I feel like I've had to say this a couple of times through this video. Remember the year that this game was published. We don't even have an insane trait in The Sims 4 anymore. So I think if this game were to be re-released like My Sims is, the title of this one will probably change. Here we meet Toane Doldrum, because that is his name. He's an arrogant yet occasionally charming slacker with 100 ideas and 100 excuses. Another redhead. He says he's going to be the most famous sim in the world just as soon as he figures out why. Well, it's probably not going to be for a positive reason. Add an in before the famous. And as expected, he comes with a sob story. Womp womp. He can't find a secret cliff diving group called the Looney Lemmings. Maybe they are near Le Shove. So you have to go find them because of course you do. From your new house, Imperial Estate, down this road, up the beach, past Club Rubb, diving cliffs are just there. But oh no, they are blocked. Now enter the lifeguard. Misty waters, bow down down. Misty waters, walking down the street. When not attending college classes, Misty spends her time earning her keep as Sims Valley's best and strongest lifeguard. I like Misty. Misty is bubbly, she likes to cheer people up, and she doesn't like insults. And her auction moth is also struggling. She's usually around the gym, the beach, the bric-a-brac shop, or the country cafe. I wish that I could become a friend, but you cannot. Do not befriend her. Don't say, hey babe, I heard that you've been diving and watched the Olympics and that. You could totally be on it. Have you ever considered it? No. You got to piss her off. Healthy communication out the window. Cause chaos always. So you don't charm her into letting you past. You bully her. And she likes to cheer people up. She doesn't like to be, oh, God bless her. But once you annoy her enough, she lets you enter the cliffs, which makes me question her responsibility as a lifeguard, to be honest, if you can just be annoyed enough to let someone jump to the death. Although I guess she's a lifeguard, not a cliff guard. She'll help you when you are in the water, but she cannot stop you from jumping. And then talk to her again, and she's like, do you know what you'd be really good at, actually? A job. You jumped off that cliff really well. That unlocks the second to last job, Cliff Diver X. You got to dive cliffs for 3 hours and you get points for every combo. Some combos are better than others. Mission 3 is called Take Over the Town, and for this, we contact Nora Zealot, and we find out that because the mayor does absolutely F all, as we've seen, the mayor's seat is up for election. We don't even know if there ever was a mayor. Maybe that's why it was doing nothing. And the literal only person to oppose us is Phil McLean, and I feel like I'm just going to add to the chip on his shoulder. Apparently, he's so popular despite slapping people with fish. The only way that we can win is by running completely unopposed. So Nora becomes our campaign manager. We give her 10,000 simoleons. And once we've paid off Nora and managed to achieve popularity around the town, we have to persuade Phil to drop out. And how do we do this? So Phil, I just don't think you're a public person, Phil. You can't slap the public with a fish. You know, Phil, maybe fishing is what's for you. Say please, please, please. No. You basically, once again, bully him, and he thinks that we're that much of a horrible person that he just doesn't stand a chance against us in politics, which, tea. And then we become the mayor. Virtue Chem. One thing that the Sims busting out for Game Boy Advance loves to do is add a secret trapdoor that wasn't there before. I think there's something there that wasn't there before. Back all the way to Uncle Hayseed's farm. In the barn, there is now a trapdoor where the toilet was. So not only has this trapdoor been able to house the plumbing network for the barn, but also, what else can it house? A rocket. Sometimes if you question the logic of the Sims, you get nowhere. So you put the rocket in your pocket, a pocket rocket, and the game classes your pocket rocket as a scientific discovery, and just logistically much to unpack. And that counts as one of our 3 goals. Get lucky, rich and smart, and we have got lucky. Now we have to get rich. And there is only one person who can do that. You big bucks. Your pockets are literally so deep. You look so pretty with what little hair you've got left. You got to charm him, and he'll front the 10,000 you need for Virtue Chem. It's not a cult. It does sound like a cult. And then also you need to get to logic level 7. And with all that, my pocket rocket friend, you don't actually get to access the high levels of the cult because for some reason, the Sims game love a cult, by the way. And if there's a cult to be had in this game, it is for sure Virtue Chem. But you do get access to a new mini game, Petri Dish. Excuse me, just have to put the rocket further up. And it's kind of a matching game, but you've got to match amoebas of the same colour, but then a mutagen can appear and change the colour of the top row. So it's a bit of a difficult one. And now we have joined Virtue Chem. My life's dream. Mission 5 is apprehend the van man, and honestly, it's a bit of a corker. Remember our dodgy van man and how we kind of formed an unlikely friendship with him? Throw it out of the window. The van window. Wind that window down, throw it out because it's gone. It's ruined. There is no more friendship to be had. And to be fair, he does keep stealing things from people's homes. You gotta cut toxic people out. That's not cool, Gustape. I thought you changed. And Fear of X has a missing guitar, which may potentially be the missing guitar that we did buy out the back of Giuseppe's van. I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but that is my suspicions. It could be. I just know I'm not going to be telling Vera about that. I think she's cool, and I want her to think that we're cool. So we go back to our friend, Detective Dan DeMann, and be like, bit awkward, Dan. I know we're friends, but I have actually had a secret friendship with Giuseppe. I could turn a blind eye to a lot of things, but not this. You form a sting together. Need to go to Nicky Nack's bric-a-brac shop. Buy a camera. It would be absolutely hilarious if you could buy a camera from Giuseppe's van, but I don't think that you can, because that would be a real full circle moment. But speaking of full circle, go back to Uncle Hayseed's farm and catch Giuseppe red-handed, not only robbing Uncle Hayseed, but threatening to kill him with a guillotine. Bit far. He's tied up in everything. That's a bit much. That's a big leap from robbing a house to killing someone with a guillotine. Anyway, Detective Dan, we take a picture of him. Detective Dan arrests him, and it's been a wild week for us. Wilder for Detective Dan, though. His life's work was to defeat the Velocity Rooster. We did that. Easy. And then Sim Valley's only criminal has been caught. So he may have finished his life's work, but he's also finished his career, babe. He's out of a job. And then the final mission is called Summer's End. Obviously, we are only here for the summer, and summer fades into autumn, as it is wont to do, which is very fitting for when this video goes up. To tie up all of our loose ends, we have to make 13 friends, which I think that we could do that. And we also need to earn 3 promotions from this section, which I also think we could do that. All nice and normal things. Also, we've got to repair the rocket and move the rocket to our new mansion, naturally. And then we have a really emotional conversation with your uncle. And honestly, this conversation pretty much solidified the Game Boy Advance version of Bustin' Out as being one of my all-time favourite games of all time ever. This rocket you restored, you're one of a kind. But it's time for you to leave Sim Valley. but I don't want to leave. I love it here. It's my home. No, it's not. Not anymore. It never was. Your mother never told you how I found you in that cornfield all those years ago. You repairing this rocket isn't coincidence. It's time for you to really go home, kid. But if that rocket leaves the ground and you're not with it, you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life. Goodbye. Perhaps I'll see you again someday. I understand. This is a warning. Do not ever think that a Sims game does not involve aliens in some way, because Sims and aliens goes together like bread and butter. They will always find a way to insert aliens into the franchise. And I'm telling you right now that mother came from 6M. You were found in a cornfield, you part alien. You get wave goodbye from everybody, like all the people that you've met, and you go into the rocket and you tootle yourself off into the sky, and there's a montage of you flying out of the Earth atmosphere, and then you slam back down into the ground in the exact same place that your uncle found you all those years ago, and the credits start playing. So the ending, I was like, sure, Jan. I really enjoyed the ending. What a wild ride. Anyway, that is The Sims 4. No, that is The Sims 1, technically. Busting out for Game Boy Advance. If you connect to another Game Boy Advance with your Game Boy Advance, you can actually hold your own auctions, and you can become the auctioneer, and you can even set your own minimum price. Whoever bids the most wins, obviously. Whoever tires is chosen at random. And if there's only one other person, so basically an exchange, it's just the asking price. But you can use this as an easy way to trade. You can trade items between players because you can just set the asking price to 0. Can you remember earlier when I was talking about Daddy Big Bucks? And I said that he often hangs around Paradise Island. It can make him difficult to track down because the island is hidden unless you connect to another Game Boy. Sorry, not GameCube. Another Game Boy. Well, that is Paradise Island. You get to it through a black motorboat right there. And you come upon an extra shop, which is pretty cool, but also your own house that you can live in and furnish, and it's rent free. And considering that the ending of this game is having your own house, that makes that goal feel a little bit less special. But you can still own whatever home that you want to in Sim Valley, but you just have a vacation home too. Now for the GBA to GameCube link. If you want a GameCube with The Sims busting out and a Game Boy with busting out, one of the biggest selling points, as we saw in the advertisement, is that you can literally play The Sims on the go with the same sim. Because you can send the same sim through devices, it's good for beefing up a GameCube sim, because gender, name, skills, personality, simoleons and motives are all transferred. So it's a nice way to work on your sim away from your console, even at school. And it's a good way to earn money for the GameCube sim as well. You can do the mini games and arcade cabinet to earn simoleons for your GameCubers. But the opposite is also true, because you can send an already beefed up GameCube sim over to Sim Valley on the Game Boy to make the game a lot easier, because you'll already have all of the skills. This section of the video is called the extras, because there's some parts of this game that you just don't see or that you just don't hear about, and that I just find interesting. Also, you might hear of them and you might see them and you might play with them, but I just find them interesting and want to include them. This one is all about the NPCs. To start off for console, we've got the pizza guy. He charges 40 quid per pizza, so it's not really a smart investment, but he has a cute name. He is called Freddy the Pizza Guy. Bustin' Out's predecessor, The Sims for console, also had a pizza guy called Freddy, and I really like when they continue random things like that on. This is important. He is not Freddy the Pizza Dude, who's actually called Dale, and is in The Sims for PC. There's a mix-up on his name. Bridget the maid is the absolute backbone of this franchise. She walked so Kaelin Langrat could run straight to Daniel's Pleasant's arms. The Sims in Bustin' Out are dirty pigs, and this is the only thing that helped me keep my sanity. And they're so bad at keeping on top of cleaning in this game. She wears white gloves to protect herself from Dudley Langrat. Bridget is also returned from The Sims. 10 simoleons an hour? Bargain. Unless she's there all day, which she probably will have to be. The gardener. Let me introduce you to a necessary evil, Gloria the gardener. I say that because whenever I play the old Sims games, I always forget that the plants need tending to, or they will die and your Sims will hate you. So unless you want to be caught with miserable Sims, you best hire Gloria, who will turn up every 3rd day. God bless ye, Gloria. I wish I didn't need you. I couldn't find a name for any of these, but this is the repairman. Honestly, I never used him, and I probably should have done, because he can replace light bulbs. That's another thing that can blow in this game. It is so hard. How many simoleons does it cost to change a light bulb? 50 simoleons per hour. He should switch places with the thief. The fire department, Evan Buckley stands rise. You got a fire, they'll put it out. You don't got a fire, they'll charge you 100 simoleons. The police, canonically, obviously there is a cat burglar in this game, and shockingly it is not a cat. But you best ring the police when she comes. And if the police apprehend the burglar, you'll get the cash offering of the value of the item that the burglar stole and also 1,000 simoleon reward. Call them without a burglar and you'll be charged 100 simoleons. So those are the ones that you can call, but be very aware because NPCs can also call on you. You better watch out. Social workers about. Want somebody, please think of the children. Reaper, the man, the myth, legend. Oliver Specter's reason for killing and my reason for living. You can die in this game and you can kill other people in this game. Not everybody, but some. And you can kill the maid with Bela Goth's evil plant. And I recommend that you do to see Grim in action. He's really good. And then finally, for console version, we have the cat burglar. This is just a burglar. I don't know why she decided to wear high heels to rob a house. I actually don't know why. The thing is, I think iconic bit of Sims history, but I don't know why they went for a redesign and then just left the cat burglar in the Sims Bustin' Out, but the yassification of the burglar in the Sims franchise. And now for Game Boy Advance, we have the maid, repairman, and firefighter. The maid costs 50 simoleons per visit at level 1. It goes up to 400 at level 5. The repairman and firefighter stay the same at 100 simoleons per visit. There's no burglar because the only burglar in this game is Giuseppe and he's in jail. So this is now a crime-free town. For shopkeeper NPCs, we've got Heidi Shadows, who we will talk in more depth about next, and Phoebe Twiddle, a cashier at Nicky Knack's bric-a-brac shop. Phoebe is actually rumoured to be Uncle Hayseed's girlfriend because of a dialogue that she says in The Sims Herbs in the City, which I would also like to cover on this channel. So the console version of Bustin' Out is pretty straightforward with its cheats. There's a combination of keys that you have to press, and if you're successful, your sim will make a noise in the menu and a gnome will appear on your front garden. But you have to be insanely quick with this because I just believed that the PS2 didn't have cheats because it wouldn't work, but you just have to be so fast. After that, you can input more cheats like fill all motives, give money, unlock all locations, unlock all objects, unlock all skins, unlock all social options, and the option for a team photo, which shows the development team of The Sims Bustin' Out, which I like that one. It's really useful, to be honest, because this game is so hard. I found it so challenging. I did rely on cheats a lot. In The Sims Bustin' Out for Game Boy Advance version, cheats are somehow more over and covert at the same time. First of all, they're intentional. Here is the ninja cheat shop. Second of all, the person who has the cheats is Heidi Shadows, literally dressed as a ninja and is notoriously hard to track down. She only appears on certain days of the week, but you also can't see certain days of the week, and you have to go into settings, work out how many days you've played, and then from working on that, you can see if it's Friday and if she'll turn off that day. So it's very convoluted, but when you do track her down, you can unlock cheats, but you have to pay for them in this game. They're not free, and they're not meant to solve everything, but they are good for a quick way to finish the level. Rosebud is in this game, funnily enough. Rosebud, as a sim staple, always gives you 1,000 simoleons. And this doesn't. This gives you 5,000. And I wonder if it's because 5,000 is an amount that is needed, whereas 1,000 wouldn't be worth tracking down the ninja for and paying for it. But you can also get different berries that add skill points, like the Da Vinci berry adds 1 creative point, and the buff berry adds 1 body point. The Nokia N-Gage, which is codenamed Starship, that is quite funny. It's a mobile device and a gaming device, and this came out before the Nintendo DS, before the PSP. Like, this was quite revolutionary for the time. It had games like Tony Hawk on it, Tomb Raider. It was also a mobile device, and Nokia tried to put some effort in to make sure that you couldn't just dial people with the keys, but also it's a gaming device, which meant that the keys were notoriously hard to press and it wasn't really appropriate to game on. The Sims Bustin' Out for N-Gage ended up as a direct part of the Sims Bustin' Out for Game Boy Advance, so everything that we've just covered. They do add some extra features, like there's a SIM card game that you can go and find SIM cards around Sim Valley. Another one is a dart game, but I think that this was the right decision. IGN even said it's probably one of the better games on the N-Gage. I wish I had more information about this game for the N-Gage. I really want to buy an N-Gage and play with it, and maybe one day in the future I will. But the N-Gage itself sold a lot less than expected, and Nokia moved away from mobile phone gaming, and the rest is history. But that is a really interesting piece of history, one that piques my interest. Now for the weekend event, we did touch on at the beginning, but for the weekend event, it is exclusive to PlayStation 2 only, and you can become a host and invite someone over, and they can play as their sim, but in your save file. So it's like Animal Crossing, where build and buy is disabled, and also you can't progress in anything, but it is also meant to be a weekend break from the constant work of the early Sims games. So weekends weren't a thing back then, as we spoke about. So maybe not being able to do anything was actually more of a selling point rather than a hindrance. To get into the online weekend mode, you enter a lobby. You can sort people by images of their sim, their sign, their career, their unlocks, their location, and you can chat to them through a keyboard, or you can talk using a headset. That's pretty good. And the entire point of it was basically just to relax, show off your stuff and trade items with other players. And apparently the quality of it was supposed to be good too. And I think that's a really good addition to the game, considering we get Bustin' Out, free play and online weekend, only for the PS2, but that packs a punch. The online weekend unfortunately shut down in 2008, but an article on FreeSo goes over installing it for PC and bringing it back. But they say it's mainly for the nostalgia trip. But you can also rely on FreeSo to keep the nostalgia of The Sims alive. The Sims Bustin' Out is often referred to as like one of the best games of The Sims, the epitome of The Sims. I agree, wholeheartedly agree. That's how we feel now in the context of 2024. But I wanted to go back and see what people actually thought about it at the time, what critiques for the main games were from reviewers, because I rarely hear critiques for Bustin' Out, Herbs, and The Sims 2 for PSP. Maybe I'm looking at it with too much of a nostalgic view. And it's easy for me to criticise The Sims 4 because she's current. The Sims team is actively working on it and it's actively impressing me or disappointing me. But The Sims Bustin' Out, there's no one working on it. There's nothing that you can do. So I find I only have positive things to say about them now. But I'm really interested to see what critics thought of The Sims Bustin' Out when it was released in 2004, 20 years ago. I just want to say preemptively that I think that The Sims Bustin' Out is absolutely amazing. It's probably one of my favourite experiences I've ever had playing The Sims in my entire life. So if I share opinions that aren't The Sims Bustin' Out, what a god you are, or this literally changed my life, it doesn't mean I agree with them. I'm just sharing them. Other things that I've found of what other people have said. Doesn't mean it's my opinion. Generally, it did have amazing reviews. It went down very well. But it did also have some critiques. And it's okay. Even on the Xbox, which is the least jagged of all three titles, the bright palette, wonderful variety of people, places, things and actions can't make up for an almost lack of transition animations and other obvious flaws. Viewing the game close up is still rather disappointing. Hopefully that's something The Sims 2 will address on the PC in the coming months. But therein lies another problem. What we're dealing with here is quite an old game now, and it looks it. It's quite jarring to hear that about The Sims Bustin' Out and have the current Sims game also face the same scrutiny 2 decades later, yet be lasting twice as long. This came out in 2004, so it's even more weird hearing this. It hasn't changed a great deal from the game that's originally charted back in 2000, and I'm pretty bored of it. I've played enough expansions and reworkings of the basic formula to last me a lifetime. Can you imagine telling them that The Sims 4 has lasted 10 years on a broken foundation? I think they'd quit. Star Dingo for GamePro said it's really no more than yet another extension of a 5-year-old gameplay device. Concept meet breaking point. Imagine them hearing that The Sims 5 is in development. Star Dingo is a bit harsh in their review though, because they say the new hook, being able to move to a vast amount of locations, is only marginally successful. The premise of the game might work for people who didn't get the original Sims because there's now a point, but also that point doesn't really work when The Sims was never designed with a single character, goal-oriented gameplay in mind. Square peg, round hole, and then ended the article with, yeah, The Sims finally get to move out, but it's really about time they moved on. A profound silence has entered the chat. The Sims came out in the year 2000. It got a console version of The Sims, and then The Sims Bustin' Out came out, and people saw that and were like, they're really taking the piss a bit now. 3 games. Too far. 20 years later, here we are. But Andrew Park has a more positive outlook on it, which I think I want to end it on. The Sims Bustin' Out makes good, solid improvements over its predecessor and stands on its own as a great version of The Sims for consoles. And it's interesting that that review has been the one to stand the test of time, because that is exactly how it's viewed. It's not viewed as the smartest, most intuitive Sims game with the biggest worlds, or honestly, even the most in-depth plot, but so many people rave over this game, and it's just got the it factor. And I think that it factor is hard. Oh, not to be cringe. Oh, I'm just much more likely to view glitches as quirks if I can feel that a game has heart. And I don't necessarily think that's right of me to do, but I do it. And I am guilty of looking back with rose-coloured glasses at older Sims games, but I just love them. Despite some less than stellar reviews, it did win Console Family Game of the Year along with iToy. So she will go down with the gods of the Sims franchise, like the Herbs, Sims in the City, The Sims 2 for PSP, and I think even to some extent now The Sims Medieval. Check out Stevil Sims' channel for a medieval video coming soon. I had an amazing time playing it, and I really understand why so many people say this game is iconic, because it is. It doesn't have the best graphics. Sometimes it was glitchy, but it was wild and bizarre, and it was so much fun. Each experience felt different, even the monotonous tasks, even though they killed me sometimes. I just loved meeting everybody. Each character was so much fun. So I'm really happy that The Sims Bustin' Out exists. I have recorded me playing the entirety of Bustin' Out on my second channel. You can go over, it's at Plumbella 2. I haven't had an episode up in a while because my PC is broke, so I don't have access to the actual footage. More of it will be released when I get my PC back. Currently working on my dad's PC, so I hope all these videos have turned out okay. Thank you all very, very much for watching. Thank you to Midas Merge for sponsoring this video. Make sure you check the rules in the description. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.